What's going on, everyone? This is your boy Tyrus the Warlock here on Black Man Unfiltered Network. I ain't gonna lie, man. I've been really busy. I've been knee deep into my project, into my AI project, and so I haven't been paying attention a lot to the news this week. And I know I didn't miss a lot. But then, today, unfortunately, had to take the car to the shop. All right. And so because of that, I had time to look at the news and everything like that. And boy, oh boy, I see that inflation rose 4.2% in May. And Trump's response is that he loves inflation. So, turning on the TV, guys, that wasn't a very, very well expected thing or a nice thing to see. Our president he doesn't take anything we got going on seriously. You know what I mean? So that's definitely going to be a problem. Nancy Mace apparently came in fifth, guys. Came in fifth. Uh, Dead last in her South Carolina, the GOP primary for governor. Dead last. And if you're in South Carolina, y'all know Nancy Mace, this is her last year. Because as she decided to run for governor, she couldn't run, right? She couldn't run for re-election for Congress. Yeah, bro, dead last in the Republican primary, bro. Nobody wanted you. Damn, son. Nobody wanted you. But kind of makes sense because your constituents was tired of you. So why would the state want you when your own constituents are tired of you? It kind of makes sense. But yeah, but obviously our main topic tonight is going to be about situational awareness, self-awareness. Yes, this is going to be definitely related to the Karmelo Anthony sentencing trial and everything like that. But yeah, just doing some quick updates before we get into that all that fun stuff, man. Yeah, Trump, guys. What is your guy talking about here? You know what I mean?
Mr. President, about the latest inflation number which came out this morning. Could that be a
No, I love it. The numbers were great. You know what I really love? I love the inflation. You know why? Because as soon as this war is over, I can say it now. Something you didn't know. Do you know we've been taking out millions of barrels of oil? Nobody knows it. You know who doesn't know about it? Iran until right now. We took out the other night 22 ships late at night with no lights because they don't have any radar because we blasted the crap out of it. We took out, that's why oil's $85 a barrel. I mean, you take.
Guys, he don't take it seriously. All I could do, guys, is laugh because he loves it. And I guarantee you guys, who also didn't know we were taking millions of barrels of oil from Iran? The US government probably didn't know. US military probably didn't know. That was probably an exclusive because nobody knew about it till he fucking said that just now. Because y'all know Trump loves just making shit up on the spot. All right, guys. He just absolutely loves making it up. Yo, shout out. I wish I could read that. I wish I knew what your name, but yo, shout out to you. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, guys, so let's just go ahead and just get right into it. All right. too many of my fellow guys here, I'm not going to speak for the guys around the world, but something tells me some of y'all going through it too. But specifically for my guys in America, man, um, there seems to be an increasing amount of men who just straight up lack situational awareness, self-awareness. They're just completely intentionally oblivious to your surroundings. I am not sure. But let me be very clear. There should be no one celebrating anything. A teenager took the life of another for no reason and has permanently changed how both families will function moving forward. There is now a new normal in that community that no one asked for. Karmelo Anthony needs to serve as a cautionary tale for young boys and men who think their pride and ego are worth going to prison for. 17 years old when the incident occurred, Karmelo Anthony was sentenced to 35 years in prison for the fatal stabbing of teenager Austin Metcalf during a high school track meet. These two didn't even know each other, by the way. Anthony, for whatever reason, decided to go into the rivals team's tent when it started raining instead of going with the rest of his teammates and coaches. Obviously, the students are going to feel some type of way when that athlete from a rival school is chilling in their team's tent, regardless of the weather's conditions. Before we continue, I want everybody to think about the environment we're talking about right now. A high school track meet. Why in God's name is Karmelo Anthony carrying a knife in his backpack at a track meet that he's participated in? Just as a dad, that was the first thing that popped up in my head when I heard about this story a couple years ago. Why are you carrying, like, what ops do you have at your track meet? I want to be clear here. It was confirmed Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf had no prior interactions with each other to this event. They did not know each other. Right? I want everybody to think about that as well. Nobody would have ever known about this random track meet in Texas had Anthony got into a typical shoving match and or fight with Metcalf. Instead, he decided to have his hand on his knife while holding a backpack, holding the knife while in his backpack, despite Metcalf not even physically touching him yet, and then stabbing him after being pushed. Not punched, not kicked, not spit on, not called a racial slur. Pushed. Put yourself in a situation where you know tensions were high. And I know we've all been there. We've all been in a shoving match. Maybe everybody was drinking that night. Maybe it was a shit day at work. Whatever the reason, how many of you have stabbed someone after being pushed? The reaction for us men is to typically shove the person back, right? For some of us hotheads out there, hey, all bets are off. I'm just going to start swinging. Right? Typical reaction from guys. But very few reactions, if any. This is the first time I've ever heard somebody getting shoved and responding with stabbing them in the chest. This isn't a nightclub or a bar or somebody who had a mental health breakdown and had a shit day in the office. This was a high school track meet where a 17-year-old boy decided that not only was he going to provoke an incident in the opposing team's area, but at that very moment, risk his freedom over what exactly? He wasn't defending another teammate. He wasn't being jumped. He wasn't defending anybody's honor like his mom or something. He wasn't reacting to a racial slur. Nobody tried his girl right in front of him. And he can't claim that Metcalf had a weapon. Because again, the teenager he stabbed was unarmed. Let me repeat as well. Anthony did not know Metcalf prior to the incident. They had zero interactions prior to this track meet. So every one of those scenarios that I just laid out, he wasn't being jumped, wasn't defending another teammate. Every one of those scenarios could have been the difference between the murder charge and manslaughter, as Texas law only has 4 categories of homicide: capital murder, murder, manslaughter, and criminally negligent homicide. Unfortunately for Anthony, none of those scenarios applies to him. Even a narrow provision in the Texas Penal Code called sudden passion didn't apply to him. Sudden passion is a defense where the defendant committed murder under immediate and provoked passion. In order for this provision to be applicable, the jury must find that whatever environment the defendant was in, provided sufficient motivation to cause anger, rage, resentment, or terror. Examples include catching your spouse cheating in the act, a threat being made to one of your children, road rage, immediate retaliation such as physical assault, robbery, or sexual abuse. So it makes sense why the defense failed to convince the jury of Anthony's innocence, as Anthony was under no threat at any point of the altercation. None of the scenarios that could have at least got him a lesser charge applied. Too many points in the timeline show, and it is stated by witness testimony, where Anthony was the one escalating the situation. Guys, 3 hours. That's how long it took took the jury to find him guilty, which typically implies the case was cut and dry. Because let's be clear, they had video footage. They had the testimony. They had the testimony from the witnesses. All you guys' conspiracies, I really don't want to hear it, because you're the same ones with the nonstop conspiracies about Tory Lanez and Diddy and all this other stuff. This is why I wait for the facts to come out. And what does the facts say? In general, a push is not considered deadly force. So responding with a weapon like a knife is a legal escalation. It doesn't matter that Metcalf pushed Anthony because of the environment and the disproportional response to the shove. The castle doctrine in Texas is not applicable in this case, as there was no imminent threat to Anthony's life. Let's use another example. Let's take another scenario so you guys can understand how dumb Karmelo Anthony really was. Say, my military guy, say you're a gunner in an MRAP doing convoy security. While driving, one of the civilians throws a rock at you, maybe a couple of rocks. You know what you can do? And I know this for a fact. You can throw something back at him. Hell, you could throw the same rock he threw at you. Maybe you can even keep a couple rocks up there and throw it back. You know what you can't do in response to somebody throwing a rock at you? You can't open fire with the 50 cal. You can't open fire with your rifle in response, because your response is disproportional to the action that caused you to react that way. You cannot get shoved and then shoot somebody or stab somebody and think you're going to get self-defense. Everybody here and everybody trying to defend Karmelo Anthony, y'all already knew that. What Karmelo Anthony severely lacks is becoming more and more common amongst today's young men, and that is a lack of situational awareness. Situational awareness is defined as the ability to perceive, understand, and reasonably predict your immediate environment in order to make sound decisions. A lack of situational awareness is the inability to see how one's behavior and emotions can impact themselves and those around them, either positive or negative. And this is where situational awareness and self-awareness overlap. Because situational awareness is not just noticing what is happening around you. It is also noticing what is happening inside you, your emotions, while the situation is unfolding. A self-aware person can feel themselves getting angry and still ask, is this worth it? A self-aware person can feel embarrassed and still understand, my pride is not a legal defense. A self-aware person can recognize when they are in the outsider in a space where they are uninvited, when the energy is turning hostile, when people are telling them to leave, and when staying is no longer about safety, it's about ego. It is about proving whatever point Karmelo Anthony was trying to prove at that moment. Self-awareness, situational awareness is what Anthony failed to do. There are signs when someone lacks self-awareness in a tense situation. They keep escalating after the point has already been made. They confuse disrespect with danger. Let me repeat that, because there's a lot of men who don't understand that point. Let me repeat it. They confuse disrespect with danger. Those are not the same things. They mistake embarrassment for an attack. They care more about looking tough in the moment than surviving the consequences after. They do not ask, how did I contribute to this situation? They only ask, who disrespected me? And that is dangerous, especially for young men, because ego will lie to you. Ego will tell you that walking away makes you weak. Ego will tell you that being corrected is the same as being threatened. Ego will tell you that every uncomfortable moment needs a response. But maturity is understanding that not every moment requires a response. Sometimes the most masculine thing you can do is leave, not because you're scared, but because you can see the future better than the person trying to provoke you. That is what situational awareness really is. It is not just seeing the environment, it is seeing the consequences before they arrive. So let's break that understanding down in this scenario. Anthony is at a high school track meet at Frisco, Texas, when it starts raining. Instead of going with his fellow teammates and coaching staff to wherever they went when it started raining, he decided to go into the rival school's tent by himself with no invitation from anyone to do so. Despite being verbally told multiple times by multiple students in the tent to leave, he not only decided to not listen, but responded with, and I quote, "Touch me and see what happens," while gripping a knife inside his backpack. There's a whole bunch of men who heard, and I quote, "Touch me and see what happens," and y'all know damn well what the hell that means. That's all ego and pride speaking. And that ego and pride ultimately led to him stabbing Metcalf in the chest, piercing his heart after Metcalf has shoved Anthony on the shoulders. He didn't flash the knife at Metcalf to scare him away. He didn't slash Metcalf on the arm or the body. He stabbed him in the chest, specifically the heart. even if he happened to miss the sternum, do you guys understand how hard it is, how intentional you gotta be to stab somebody in the fucking heart? A lot of y'all can't imagine. A lot of y'all can go like this. A lot of y'all can go like this and inherently understand you got to be real intentional about trying to pierce that knife through somebody's body. Because it ain't easy. It ain't like the movies, folks. Stabbing somebody in the chest, I don't know. But in real life, stabbing somebody in the chest, especially piercing their heart, that's really hard to do. It's not easy. Ask some of the doctors out here. They will tell you that a lot of the times, some of the weapons will straight up break on their sternum. Anthony failed to perceive his environment properly, purposely put himself in a volatile situation. He then failed to comprehend the situation he put himself in, instead to double down on his bad decision-making by not exiting the tent once it was made clear he wasn't welcome. And then the worst decision of all, he failed to think about the potential consequences of his actions and stabbed another teenager under the false notion of self-defense. Karmelo Anthony's lack of situational awareness, combined with his piss-poor decision-making, is why he will spend the next 35 years behind bars. And he has nobody to blame but himself for the new normal he's created. It is not the system's fault. It is not his race or Anthony Metcalf's race for why this happened. This is all on Karmelo Anthony. Unfortunately, Anthony is just one of the increasing amount of young males in this country actively looking for confrontation that sometimes leads to tragedy. On September 29th, 2025, a New Jersey teenage male was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder for intentionally striking 2 17-year-old girls on an e-bike. Sources say he was stalking one of the girls who had rejected him prior. On October 21st, 2024, a 15-year-old fatally shot 5 members of his family in Falls City, Washington. This 15-year-old was so intentional with his murder that one of his siblings that he murdered, his 15-year-old brother, he planted the gun on his dead body afterwards, and he called 911, claiming that his brother is the one that shot the family. A 16-year-old boy in Philadelphia was responsible for a string of murders between 2020 and 2021. Combine just a few of the examples with the amount of males claiming to be lonely increasing by the month, political violence becoming more acceptable, and a very deep social divide amongst the country, and it's easy to see why this problem only seems to be getting worse. The overall pattern is clear. More and more young males are not being taught how to de-escalate conflicts, how to carry themselves properly on a day-to-day basis, how to handle rejection, and how to evaluate surroundings. It's either not being taught or blatantly being ignored. Either way, it's a problem we have to address in this country, because as Americans, life is only becoming more and more difficult to navigate with all of this dysfunction engulfing our nation. The lesson is to not never defend yourself. That's childish. The lesson is know where you are, know what level of threat you're actually facing, and understand that your ego is not an emergency. A push is not a death sentence. Disrespect is not a death sentence. Being told to leave a tent is not a death sentence. And if your first instinct in a teenage argument is to reach for a blade, the problem is not self-defense. The problem is you. And as an adult, if your first instinct is to defend a kid who has escalated this situation and put himself in a corner, the problem isn't the law. The problem is you. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead, open it up to the panel. Oh, man, there's been some comments. I bet it's going to be... you know what? Let me go ahead and open copy link. BMU, can you hear me? You in there? Go ahead. Drop the link. How you doing, man?
Man, I hear you up here full of shit tonight, bro.
Oh, really?
Bro, I'm sitting up here looking at the Texas statute of law, man. And I put in specifically in the chat GPT about Texas law on pushing anyone in your personal space, anyone intentionally and knowingly causing physical contact, you have a right and stand your ground laws here in council doctrine in the state of Texas to do whatever it takes to defend yourself. I don't know. I'm trying to understand why people
You're wrong.
I'm not wrong. It says in Texas, assault occurs when a person intentionally or knowingly causes physical contact.
Clearly, respectfully, BMU, you did not listen to the monologue because I literally addressed exactly what you said. It does not apply. First off, Castle Doctrine does not apply to Karmelo Anthony. Second off, think about the environment. He's the one who, first off, he's the escalator.
He's not.
You cannot escalate a situation and then claim self-defense. BMU, you can't do that. And then on top of that, BMU, the law specifically states that you cannot, that shoving someone is not deadly intent. So you cannot shove BMU, if I shove you and you stab me in the chest, you're going to prison.
Tyrus,
do you not understand that?
This is the problem that I'm having. White men, this is what I know. This is I'm in Texas. I'm right down.
Bro, this got nothing to do with race, bro. This got everything to do with the kid making a dumb decision.
I said this today to a bunch of niggas. I said the white men teach their sons how to kill. The black men teach their sons how to bow. And this is why we have this problem. This is the problem.
He's a 17. You know what the problem is? You're trying to justify a 17-year-old who's participating in the track meet stabbing another track meet guy, dude in the chest.
Keep your fucking.
Are you
hands
serious?
Keep your fucking hands to yourself. If I'm
BMU, no, don't stop. BMU.
Shit,
you and I are the same age. BMU, you and I are the same age.
Absolutely.
Will you claim up here right now that you've never gotten into a shoving match with somebody?
Yeah, I have. Absolutely.
Okay, so has somebody ever pushed you?
Yeah.
Have you ever responded by stabbing them in the fucking chest?
I didn't have no knife to do it, but if I did, I probably would have.
And you'd be in prison. You want to know why? Because that is a disproportional response.
Tyrus, I got a question for you.
That is law, whether you like it or not.
I got a question for you, Tyrus.
What's up?
If you come by me and you push me, you can't choose how I respond to your assault. You can't choose
the law, but the law can. But the law can and does. Okay. The law can, does, and will continue to do so, BMU. And the reality is, guess what, BMU? I'm going to repeat the same thing I repeated in my monologue. If the 17-year-old teenager responded like a typical 17-year-old teenager responds to a shove at a track meet, nobody here would know what the fuck a Frisco Texas is.
Oh, they would. Frisco is pretty huge.
No, they wouldn't. You want to know why? Because this wouldn't make national news, BMU.
It would.
You want to know why? Because there wouldn't be a dead kid.
If the roles were reversed, we would not be having this show right now. If
the roles were reversed, we wouldn't be having this show because guess who didn't have a knife on them, BMU?
Bro.
Do you not? No. I need you to understand the hypocrisy you're talking about. If the roles were reversed, Anthony Metcalf did not have a weapon on him.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
Hey, let me tell you something.
The law, the jury, and I disagree.
Let's talk about the law. Let's talk about the law. Because I'm here in Texas and I've seen a lot of these cases. right? So,
Okay.
so are you familiar with Ethan Couch? You know who that is?
Yeah, that's that dumbass affluenza kid.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. This motherfucker got drunk, got in his daddy's truck, drove down the highway doing 100 miles an hour, hit a church van, killed a pastor and 6 members.
4 people.
4 people.
Yeah.
Guess what? And guess what happened? He went home.
Yeah, he got probation. I covered that.
What are we talking about? This is what I'm saying. This is in the same
BMU.
county. This is in the same
BMU.
county, same
Okay.
county, same judges. What are we talking about?
BMU. That case was also 10 years ago and has nothing to do with this case that we're talking about now. BMU, I have agreed with you, by the way. I've covered the stupid ass affluenza kid. So again, you're talking to somebody who would typically agree with you, but that case has nothing to do with what we're discussing right now. Hey, BMU, hold up. We actually got a super chat, bro.
Okay.
Trap, with the $2 BMU, the little reason why racism still exists. Oh, come on, bro. BMU just having a discussion, bro.
I love it.
No,
I love
come
it. I want them to keep going. I like the interaction in the chat. Hey, listen, bro, we have so many cases. We just seen the child guy get away with shooting a boy in the back. You see what I'm saying? Like we see these things. All right. He just shot. He ran. Not only there was no threat. The boy was running away from him, and he shot him in the back and got away with it. Like I'm so confused on what is the standard of law here. What? BMU.
First and foremost, you should know that. You should know this by now. We don't have a standardized law system. All of our states, all 50 of them, got a different set of laws. Like you know that our federal law is really just streamlined and mainly just for interstate commerce and that kind of shit.
Okay,
you get what I mean? Or like the felonies where you're dealing with like clearances and that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're talking about these state charges, bro, every state treats it differently. BMU, you know, there's red states that don't have the death penalty. There's some blue states that do. There's some red states that can't wait to get the death penalty, but they still not going to put like for example, Karmelo Anthony. They're not going to put that kid. They're not going to put that kid to death. That's why they gave him 35 years. And I guarantee you, bro, they was looking for everything to lower the charge to manslaughter. But BMU, this is why I'm going to keep educating the audience. Texas law is different because Texas does not have murder 1, murder 2, murder 3, or those different degrees, guys. Texas specifically, as I mentioned in my monologue, only has 4 categories: capital murder, murder, manslaughter, and criminal negligence.
35 years for a kid who's a straight A student, made one bad decision. You give him 35 fucking years.
Bro, that one bad decision cost somebody his life.
Hold on. And these 2 white boys, we keep angelifying these motherfuckers. They beat up their daddy. They were known bullies. This is facts. They known bullies. They known for putting their hands on motherfuckers, and they known for being that type of people. My thing is this: I'm telling you right now, everybody talk about law, but I'm going to talk more about morals. Right? What's up, Jay Prince? I want to talk about more about morals. My thing is this: any man on this panel right now, Tyrus, if I'm out right now and I'm walking down the street and a motherfucker come to me and push me with 2 fists in my chest, it depends on what mood I'm in. He may not make it home tonight. That's what I'm saying. You can't control
in your scenario. BMU, in your scenario, and what's crazy is that us as guys still have some sense of control. I'm going to bring Jay Prince in this as an example. BMU, if you're getting jumped and Jay Prince and I are around you, of course we're going to start pushing and fighting back. You know what we're not going to do? We're not going to stab somebody in the fucking chest.
Bro.
And you know what we're not going to do? We're not going to stab somebody in the chest at a track meet.
Everybody,
Jay Prince.
We act like this dude got up in the morning and said, I'm going to stab me a nigga today. I mean, what are we talking about? He
obviously not.
Right. So
obviously not. No. Exactly. Like I agree with that, but still, right? We're still talking about, again, we're talking about the specific timeline here. And at the end of the day, Karmelo Anthony, from the beginning of the track meet, from the time it started raining on, was just making bad decision after bad decision.
So what's the bad decisions?
First and foremost, well, I mentioned it in the monologue. First and foremost, why are you not?
Come on.
Okay. First and foremost, why are you not following your teammates and your coaches to wherever they're going when it starts raining? You're the only one who decided to go to the opposing team's tent. That's the first bad decision. Right? I'm not, hey, BMU, hold up. BMU, I didn't even bring up the knife in the backpack. Right? I'm ignoring that one.
Well, it's the state of Texas. Everybody got a knife on them. Kids.
That's why I ignored BMU. That's why I ignored it. It's Texas. You see what I mean? I'm being fair.
So let me say this. If your kids are in sports, my kids are in sports. Listen to me. There have been times when I was coaching the opposing team, if it rained or stormed, they were under our tent. It's a thing we do here. We do it here.
And guess what? BMU, I also know that there's coaches who don't give a shit. You can't chill in our tent. There's also players who be like, I don't give a shit. You can't be in our tent. You know how athletes are, bro, especially at that age. Like, come on, bro. Jay Prince, hey, how you doing tonight, man?
Yeah, so I ain't doing so well, but I am doing well. Charles Whiteman talking about putting up $75,000 for his appeal and stuff like that. It's this thing that when you look at the stats, and usually I'm not the type of dude to look at stats, but every time when black people die in the hands of whites, most times they get off. They find a reason to get those whites off. But if it's in the reverse, it's 0.8% chance that a black person gonna get off from deleting whites. They don't care if it's accidental or not, right? So I would say this, and a lot of people ain't gonna like what I had to say. Yeah, he got 35 years. He gonna do 17 and a half off that.
Yeah, right.
I will say that Karmelo Anthony is a freedom fighter. He is like the new Black Panthers. He's like the civil rights movement and all that type of stuff. And guess what? 17 years, he gonna be what, about 35, 37? He gonna be free, right? He gonna be free. He gonna be messing with women, and guess what? He gonna be rich. Because if this became a high-profile case, all it takes is majority of black folks donate $5 to him. That man gonna have almost $200 million. He won't have to worry about having a felony on his record. He did what our ancestors wanted to do. He's the first black man that took out our op. He's not in jail for taking out a black man. He's not in jail for raping a little kid or raping a woman. He in jail for taking out his op, his original op, his truest op. Because like he said, y'all trying to victimize.
He killed a high school kid, Jay Prince.
Yeah, that high school kid also was a weapon.
A bully.
That high school kid, Austin.
That was their first time ever interacting with each other.
Right. Austin was a weapon. The reason why he was so aggressive, because did you know he was a trained jiu-jitsu fighter? So let's just say if Karmelo Anthony didn't have a knife, let's say he would have put him in a chokehold. There ain't no coach or referee there to count the seconds to see if this boy, he could have took his life like that. The boy been training as a jiu-jitsu. This is how him and his brother beat the daddy up, although their daddy wasn't never in their lives. So I was also told, if a person that's trained, physical trained, you can use deadly force on them in self-defense if they try to attack you. If they try to attack you, you can use deadly force because they are a trained weapon. Jiu-jitsu is dangerous. He been training since he was a kid. Why would he gonna use a hands and this man got training? He did what he was supposed to. So thanks for Karmelo Anthony for putting Austin as a Kool-Aid pack. Keep your fucking hands to yourself. You have no right. He had that white entitlement to see a black person expecting to black people to obey him. Even at his little age, he expect for the black person to obey. Where he got that mindset from? Who taught him this? Society taught him that he has the right to discipline other black people or black people of his peers. And since he ran across the wrong one, not everybody want to feel all bad and feel like Karmelo Anthony's this case with y'all commentary is not about fairness. It's about try to angelify the white boy and demonize that black boy. How did that man came into that to that track meet with intention to harm somebody? Bro, that was a special event for him. He playing on a team. It's real exciting, you know what I'm saying? And everybody outside, this is the sports that he's into. He didn't come there with no anger, try to gang bang on no damn white boy. He came over there to have a good time and to celebrate that mere fact he on the track team.
So did every other fucking kid competing that day.
Except Austin.
And guess what, and Jay Prince? He was the only one that stabbed a kid that day.
Yeah, well, Austin asked for it. He begged for his own death.
I was going to try this rule, guys, to not smoke on stream, but clearly I'm going to have to do that. I want to read this super chat real quick. Track with the $10. Shout out to you, bro.
Appreciate you.
Should have got the chair. Why the fuck is you making it about black or white? Morals, the law, and the Lord says you shall not kill. Because some dude said, get out my tent. You justify killing a kid? What the fuck? I agree.
Let me say this real quick, Jay Prince. I believe what should have happened, what most people wanted to happen, I wish the twins would have just beat his ass and stomped him out. I think that's what most people wanted. They wanted the boys to beat his ass, stomp him out. Hey, don't do nothing. I don't know no man, even you, Tyrus. You're not finna go out in public and a motherfucker finna punk you like no bitch, and you gonna sit there and act like a bitch. You're not finna do that, Tyrus.
BMU. Yes, you're 100. BMU. You are 100% right. But guess what? I'm not doing. I'm not gonna stab somebody in the chest.
You don't know what you gonna do, Tyrus.
BMU. If you push me, I'm going to push you back. Maybe I'll swing. BMU, if I stab you in the chest as an immediate reaction to you shoving me in the shoulders, I deserve to rot in prison.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever been to Texas?
Yes, a couple times. I really like the state.
Okay. In Texas, right. Thank you.
What's that, JP? JP, what's that?
Kool-Aid packs with Austin's face on it.
Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus.
So in Texas,
we're gonna try to get T-shirts and stuff of this stuff made. I'm getting a knife made with his heart on the blade, and Karmelo Anthony like in a freedom fighting suit.
I'm not gonna go.
Nah, dog.
But and I'm going live and I'm putting money on Karmelo Anthony books,
bro. In Texas, you don't have to have a license to carry here. It's open carry here.
Yeah, open carry.
Everybody here, I promise you, if you go to any restaurant, any mall, any public out, everybody, you can see the girth of that pause on their
I got a video I want y'all to play.
Everybody got a gun on them. And I dare you, I double dare you to go up to Billy Sutherland and push him and don't expect he's gonna put a bullet in your motherfucking ass.
Before you show that video, Jay Prince, to respond to BMU.
Shit.
I know my fellow guys in Texas.
Yeah.
And I've known guys who've gotten into massive ass brawls while armed. And you know what happened? They didn't shoot anybody.
Okay.
You see, and again, we're talking, and guess what? He is a 17-year-old at a track meet.
Uh-huh.
Why in God's name are you trying to justify this kid stabbing another kid, bro? There's no there's nothing for it.
So I want you to take yourself off of the side of the victim for a second. And I just want you to look at it unbiasedly for a moment. Now, we look when in court, they specified the height and the weight of these twin boys versus the height and the weight of Karmelo. And we talk about if you're a young man and probably 130 pounds soaking wet, you have two 225-pound linebackers coming up on you, pressing you, putting their hands on you. We don't know what fear. Let's think about this just for a second. We don't know what fear went through that little boy. Now, back in the day, if I don't have no weapon, I'm gonna fight. But we were as kids. I'm telling you, I'm from Louisiana. In Louisiana, we were told if somebody try to jump you or they put their hands on you, you feel surrounded. Pick up something and knock the fuck out of them. Pick up anything, a weapon, a stick, a blade, knife, razor. Fuck them up. That's what we were taught when we were growing up. If it's one-on-one, fight. But if you feel pressure, you do what the fuck you got to do to get that circle from around you. That's what we were taught growing up. So my thing is this. Go ahead. No. I'm just saying
because
you don't know what fear was in him. He's like, oh shit, these motherfuckers. You see what I'm saying? You don't know what was going through him. That's why after he did, he was over there crying and weeping and shit at the coach. The coach over there comforting him like he's like, God damn, I had to do what I had to do, but shit. He would still show some emotion because he ain't no killer.
Right. So what's crazy in the actual scenario that played out is that he went into that tent by himself. It was repeatedly told by multiple students that were not of linebacker size. Anthony Metcalf was the last dude to say something to him. Multiple other students did not touch him, did not physically move him. They verbally told him, get out. What'd you say, JP?
When you say verbally, right? Because when y'all repeating this, since y'all heard the witness from the people that's on the opposite end, it might look like say, hey, we just asked you, can you please leave? No, it wasn't that. It was aggressiveness. It was trying to bully
no, Jay Prince, apparently it wasn't because the jury got to see the video footage inside and they decided otherwise.
No audio.
Right. And so again, right, this dude was in the opposing team's tent. Again, this is not even his high school. He's the visitor. These guys nobody's put his hands on this dude yet.
Yeah.
One Austin was suspended. He wasn't even supposed to be there.
Is that true, or are you just making that up?
Well, it also was said that he was actually suspended.
So
where do you see this is?
I'll fact check.
Okay, fact check that.
I'll fact check that, but I also will say that one of the witnesses that took the stand, if you guys were watching it, right? Because we were in Texas, they had it live on Fox 4 News here in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, right? But if you watch one of the witnesses, they said that Metcalf went over and said, "You gonna leave this tent, or you finna get your ass beat." Now, and if anybody didn't see that, I want you to go find it and I want you to watch it. You're gonna get your ass beat if you don't leave this tent. Now, you tell anybody that's right there. That's a verbal threat right there.
That's how teenagers speak.
It said yes. It was Karmelo Anthony, not the victim, Austin Metcalf, who was suspended and barred from attending school activities. During the murder trial for the fatal stabbing of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf, 2025 high school track meet. So the boy was suspended. He wasn't even supposed to be there. Austin was not supposed to be there.
Did Karmelo Anthony know that at the time of stabbing him? No.
I don't know if he did or not. I don't think the onus on him. Austin knew that.
Jay Prince, they never met each other prior to this.
But Austin knew he wasn't even supposed to be there. So if you, I would say that Karmelo had the right to be there more than Austin.
I believe. I think the defense fucked this case up real bad.
Because he didn't have enough money. You know, when you have attorneys, you can get the best attorneys, but you pay for what you get.
Yeah, if I'm the defense, I'm going to absolutely do my job, and I am going to destroy the character of the victim. He was a bully. He beat up his own daddy. He's got a record of history of violence against people. He's a fighter. He's a bully. Him and his brother were fucking bullies. If I'm the defense attorney, I'm going to destroy this motherfucker's character, dead or not. I'm going to do my job.
Yes, right. The defense, you know, the Lord attorneys be doing favors.
Yeah.
So this part was a favor because the attorney that they had is supposed to be the best attorney. However,
Stop. Jay Prince, I'm sorry, bro, but this is why I got to fact check you guys every single time, bro. Y'all are pissing me off. No, the victim, Austin Metcalf, was not the individual suspended during the stabbing. The suspended student was his attacker, Karmelo Anthony. Anthony had been suspended from Centennial High School for previously bringing a knife onto school grounds and was barred from attending any school functions, including the track meet where the incident took place. Holy shit, we got a problem, guys.
Guys,
Oh.
I didn't say this
So,
shit.
I said, guys. So I'm talking about the issue here. Because now Karmelo Anthony, J. Prince, is the one who was suspended. He's the one who previously brought the knife to school. He's the one who had no business being at the track meet. You got the wrong guy, J. Prince.
It says high school track meet in Frisco, Texas. Evidence and testimonies revealed that Anthony was not supposed to be at it. Now,
Yes, Karmelo Anthony.
Okay, now
He's the one who stabbed the guy.
Right, Karmelo Anthony. Yes. So here's the thing. This is how I take it. Because everybody was sitting up. Hold on, this is how the way I take it. I read it wrong. This is how the way I take it. I think just like the coach did, I think they switched it up to make Anthony look bad. Because why? They was going all out their way to just to destroy this boy character. As if he wasn't a 3.7 student, like he was just a gangbanger. So it seemed like even with the black coach, said that he gave this boy permission to discipline other boys, right?
What?
All this stuff, when the coach said that he gave Austin permission to manage the team. All these people, so how we know that they didn't just switch it up and make it seem like Anthony was suspended? I'm quite sure that boy was suspended. He would never been there.
Really? Really?
Really? If the boy was suspended, he's not a bad kid. He's not a bad kid. Let's see what he got suspended for.
J. Prince, respectfully, J. Prince, I need you to read better.
No.
I really need you to read better.
Why did Karmelo Anthony get suspended? It's not really saying it. We can't really go off Google then.
Oh, J. Prince, just stop. Just stop.
No,
okay.
I just think that, you know, it was some play going on. This whole case looked like a play. They were just victimizing this boy as if this was a good kid. They didn't even bring up him being violent himself. And then everybody on his team, of course, it was going to defend him. Of course.
J. Prince, if I'm going to engage in any of the speculation, because I'm really trying to have this argument in good faith.
You really got all facts?
J. Prince, if I'm going to engage in speculation and not engage in the facts, then here's one of the questions I have. There didn't seem to be an influx of teammates defending Karmelo Anthony.
Exactly.
Don't you think there would have been an influx of his own teammates defending him?
No, because he wasn't around his teammates, so they can't even speak on something.
Isn't that what I mentioned? When it started raining, instead of following his team and his coaching staff, he decided all on his own to go to that tent by himself. And despite being repeatedly told to leave, he did the exact opposite.
A fellow person that he knew, right, called him over there. And then it's raining.
Apparently, nobody called him over there. According to the witness, nobody called him over there.
Come on now. That boy is just in. We got to still also use our common sense. He ain't finna just hop on. If everybody there, his ops. Come on, use your common sense. One, it's raining. Two, he seen somebody he knew. They got pictures of him that he was at his mama was at his house. He tried to pretend like Karmelo Anthony wasn't his friend. This is how you know that boy was cohorts. A lot of those people that testified.
JP, stop. Respectfully, JP, you are asking a 17-year-old who was already suspended prior to for having a knife to then be like, yo, guys, why don't we have some common sense? Are you fucking serious?
No, Tarus, what I'm saying is, the boy, you could damn near believe somebody called him over there. He seen somebody he knew. They got pictures they've been around his family on a personal level. So he knew that boy. And he didn't know.
No, there was no previous interactions between Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony prior to the tent. They didn't know each other.
You seen a friend there.
Jay Prince, I just chat GPT the situation that y'all talking about. It says based on publicly reported trial testimony, there was evidence presented by the defense that Karmelo Anthony knew someone under the Memorial High School tent. The defense, hold on, let me finish. It says that a defense witness reportedly testified at court that a Memorial student, Eddie Parra, P-A-R-R-A, called Anthony over to the tent, and they shook hands, sat down, and talked for a minute. Another report from the trial stated that a witness testified that Anthony recognized someone he knew under the tent and gave them a handshake, laughed, hugged him, and talked to him for a while before the incident took place.
All right, so I stand corrected on he didn't know anybody in the tent. He absolutely knew anybody in the tent. I got to revoke that specific claim.
So somebody say, "Hey, what's up, what? Hey, what's up with you?" He went over to the tent. While
he went over to the tent.
Yep, get front of our fucking tent.
And then that's when Austin and his brothers and them came, right? Talking shit.
Yep.
They Austin just was still the last one there, Jay Prince.
Yeah, but Austin, you judging by Austin's character, they just want to make a fool out of him. It was raining outside. He knew that he understood that Karmelo Anthony, he seen somebody he knew, but he wanted to see the boy all wet, all soaked all up just for shits and giggles, right? And so Anthony said, man, I ain't finna go, man. Fools these guys. And so the boy over pursued it. Austin and them and his brother. The only person that I believe that's supposed to be in prison for Austin's death is not Karmelo Anthony. It's his brother.
Jay Prince, but his brother never touched Anthony. The only person that physically put his hands on Anthony was Metcalf. And all the testimony, including the defense testimony, said Austin shoved him in the shoulders.
Let me ask you a question. Yeah. If me and you decide to go rob BMU house, I'm just a getaway driver. You go inside. BMU shoot you. I'll pull off.
Jay Prince, I'm an accomplice to the crime. That is not the same thing. We're not talking about the same dynamic here.
If you commit a crime and you die in the process while committing a crime, the crime was there was assaulting him and committing a battery.
Jay Prince, Texas, it has a penal code that I went over. It's called disproportional force, right? Just because, Jay Prince, so in Texas law, if you push me and my response is stabbing you in the chest, I'm going to prison. Jay Prince, if you push me and my response is to shove you back, nothing happens, right?
Right.
Now, even in a weird scenario, Jay Prince, where you push me and I decide, you know what, I'm going to call the cops. I'm going to be one of them assholes. Technically, you can be arrested, right?
For assault.
For assault. Right. Here, but again, Jay Prince, if I stab or shoot you after you just shoved me in the shoulders, self-defense is not working in court. It's not working in court for anybody.
Can I play that video? Because I want you.
Yeah, I'm gonna play that right now.
No, give me just a second. Give me just a second.
Yeah.
There was a situation in Houston. Shout out to whoever's in Houston right now, who lives in Houston. I see it in the chat. Somebody was from Houston. But there was a situation in Houston like this with the shoving, and this is why we have to be careful, because we never know the mindset of the person that we're shoving back. So it was at a gas station, I think a Quick Trip or some shit. And the two men got it. He bumped the guy, whatever. He said, "Man, what's wrong with you?" or whatever. He pushed him. Boom. Right? He pushed the guy. The guy defended himself without a weapon and pushed the guy back. Boom. Hey, man, keep your hands to yourself. The guy pulls out the 9, pow, 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 kills him. Now, what happens if I pulled out and shot his ass first for pushing me? I'm still alive. I'm still with my family. See, you don't even know the response of the guy after you push the guy back. What's going on?
You don't know the next move.
You see what I'm saying? You don't know his next move.
Guys, I agree with that. But at the end of the day, that gets to the broader point for why I started the show, which is situational awareness and how we respond. Because at the end of the day, guys, he's sitting in, and Jay Prince absolutely correct. He might do 17, right? Good behavior, 17, 18, something like that. But at the end of the day, he's sitting in prison for his disproportional response to a non-life-threatening act.
Okay, so
that's just the reality.
Okay, so shout out to DJ Hamp. He asked this question on his show today about the whole situation. He asked all the men on the panel. Shout out to DJ Hamp. He said, and I'm gonna ask you, Tyrese, because you're a father of daughters, and just like I am. He said, if your daughter came home tonight and walked through the door and she collapsed at the door, and you ran over to your daughter and you said, "Baby, what's wrong? You okay?" And she said, "The guy, I was at the gas station, and this guy that works at the gas station, when I went in the bathroom, he came behind me and he raped me, Dad." And you see your daughter all clothes all torn up and she's been raped. What does Tyrese do next? Morally, we're going to go kill that motherfucker. But legally, if you kill that man, you're going to jail.
Yes, and that's, and by the way, BMU, let's be clear. I think you know that just because you're going to do the same thing. Yeah, we don't care. We're still going to do it.
Exactly.
But guess what? BMU, when we're talking about the law now, this is where the law, the statute that I brought up, the provision, sudden passion, comes into play. Your kid just told you what happened. You're all rage now, and you're looking for some. Now, yes, you absolutely commit murder, but now, right? That's the difference between, okay, did BMU commit capital murder? Did he commit murder? Or was it manslaughter? You see what I mean? That's the difference, because at the end of the day, we still murdered somebody. Just to stay for both of us, we still murdered somebody, right, BMU? So we're going to jail. We're going to prison, dog. Even though socially, guess what society gonna be like, man, y'all did the right thing. It don't matter, BMU. You know we're going to prison. Now it's just a matter of how long are we going to prison for?
But I'm gonna ask you this too, because maybe you're knowledgeable about this. Then we play the video. Maybe you're knowledgeable about this. Yeah. How many people do you think in the justice system have done the same thing that this young man has done with a gun, knife, or weapon of any kind, and they're at home right now?
I don't know.
But you do know there's some.
For sure.
Why do you think they got off?
There's a plethora of reasons. Plus, not everybody that committed those crimes had to deal with Texas state law. They did it in other states where the laws are different. We talked about that earlier, BMU.
I want to stay in Texas. I want to stay right here in Texas. Yeah. In Plano, Texas, there was a guy who picked up a prostitute. Now, anybody in Texas knows that where the prostitutes are, because they over in an area that's just horrible, right? He got a prostitute. The prostitute, he went to the hotel with the prostitute. He says he's going to take a shower. She gets out the shower first. He's still in the shower. She goes out of the room, and her brother pulls up in the car. She's robbing him while he's in the shower. She grabs all of his shit, gets in the car. Her and her brother speed off. The guy comes out of the bathroom naked, gets into the truck, follows them, pulls the AR-15 from the back of the seat, and he riddles the car with bullets and kills both of them. He chased them down and killed both of them. Guess where he at right now?
Where?
At home, watching TV. You know why? I didn't know this.
What was the statute?
Yeah, they said it's the castle doctrine. There's his car, his wallet, and all his money and his
property.
Yeah, it's his property, and he has up
Yeah.
to a three block radius to retrieve his things by any means necessary.
So now let's stay on the castle doctrine. Let's go by this one-on-one, BMU.
Yep.
Was anything being taken away from Karmelo Anthony, personal property?
No, not at all.
Was he being robbed?
Nope.
Was his life being threatened?
Yes.
Yeah.
How?
He felt that way.
You got
Bro,
all these.
you got to remember, you can feel a lot of things. Just because you feel it doesn't mean that's true. I mentioned that, guys. Disrespect. Sometimes too many guys think disrespect is dangerous.
He's supposed to wait till somebody.
Jay Prince, if somebody pushes you, you fucking push them back. You don't stab them in the chest.
I don't know
What
these
are
people.
y'all talking about?
Yeah, but if you don't know me, right? You don't know if I push you. You don't know my intentions on after what I'm finna do to you.
No, I don't. And that's why I said the law does. The law does. And that's where situational awareness comes in, because the law cares. The law says the law dictates how you react in the situation.
The law is not above protecting my life.
The law determines whether or not we free or not, bro. That's the reality of the country we live in. Like it or not, that is the reality of the country we live in.
But what you putting above, I don't care about that law when it comes down to protecting my life.
Bro, and Karmelo didn't care about the law either. That's why he got 35 fucking years for stabbing somebody in a track meet.
I would say, so what?
I hope it was worth it. I hope it was worth it.
You know what? No, like I said
It
before,
was worth it.
I think people really wanted. Okay, let me ask you this, Tyrus, and please be unbiased. Yeah. I know you're on one side, but I'm asking you this: what should the outcome be? So, say for instance, he said, "Hey, listen, I'm not moving. It's raining. When the rain slack up, I'll leave or something." What happens when they still push him?
A fucking good old-fashioned brawl. Like, are y'all guys not hearing me? Whoa. You get into a big-ass fight. Like, what the fuck?
Hold on. So you want 120-pound kids, 130-pound kids
yes.
to fight?
Yes. And I want his teammates coming. I want his teamates running from across the field. And I want his teammates throwing their body across. I want all that shit, bro. You don't stab somebody.
I'm going to tell you right now, Tyrus, we talk about this all the time, right? Even before this case came about. We talked about the state of young men in this world today, in this country today. We know these boys ain't built like us. They not. I would brawl back in the day. I wouldn't give a fuck. But these little kids today, they play video games all day. They're not tough.
I agree, BMU, and that's a problem because they not like us. Now Karmelo Anthony's sitting in jail for 35 years. If he was like us, this wouldn't even be a story, BMU. You know why? Because he would have pushed the dude. He might have stole on him, some shit like that. You know what I mean? Hit him in the back of the head and took off. It would be a non-fucking story. If he acted like us, but he didn't, BMU.
If there was
these kids today gotta respond with overwhelming force like we're in the fucking combat zone. You're at a track meet.
So if there was 2 white kids or Karmelo Anthony would have died, Austin would have got off.
Yep, he would have.
Bro, what's crazy is, again, in the reverse Jay Prince, we don't know that because Austin Metcalf wasn't armed.
Okay.
Even if he was the aggressor, right? And so guess what? Even in this fantasy world, Austin wasn't armed. So all he did was. So guess what? Anthony would have shoved Austin Metcalf, and Metcalf would have shoved him back because Austin wasn't armed.
He was armed. He was armed. He's a trained jiu-jitsu fighter. He's a
Stop that shit, bro.
He's not dangerous.
Oh my god.
He's a trained. Can we play this video right quick?
Hold on, Tyrus. Let me ask you a question. So, Tyrus, you don't know me, right? We're strangers. You don't know me. You don't know Jay
we're
Prince
strangers,
either, right?
bro.
You don't know Jay Prince either, right? We're out somewhere. it starts to raining. You run under our tent, and I get up, and Jay Prince get up. He my twin brother, and I get up, and we walk over to you and say, "Get the fuck out of our tent right now."
I'm drop kicking one of y'all. That's what I'm doing, bro.
And you gonna get your ass beat.
Exactly, but you know what? None of us is going to jail, and none of us is losing their fucking lives.
Okay,
damn.
What?
I don't know what you
What
want
would
to
you
do.
have a weapon on you? You found out that we train fighters, and you got a weapon on you.
Hey, information man, link in the chat.
Jay Prince, the likelihood of 2 17-year-olds being trained fighters and then knowing about it is slim to none. Like, fucking stop.
Like,
I'm gonna play you. Look, Jay Prince, respectfully, I'm gonna play your video, okay? Go ahead and play it.
Yeah, hit play.
Never actually had a right to self-defense. I mean, technically, Karmelo Anthony never actually had a right to self-defense. I mean, technically, he did. He's supposed to, but Black American men, women, and children in this country don't actually have that. They are not protected by the law in that way. They are not even protected by the law when they are innocent children just walking home with their snacks and a hoodie on, or they're playing with a toy at the park. Black Americans, despite what the law says, aren't actually given the opportunity to defend themselves. They aren't even given the opportunity to exist safely. So you can tell me that he had a fair trial, and I'm telling you, no, he fucking didn't. He didn't have a fair life. He doesn't have a fair existence. How the fuck could he have a fair trial in a justice system that is not only upholding anti-Blackness and white supremacy, but was built to sustain those institutions? Police agencies appear to be much more likely to characterize a killing as self-defense or justifiable when the victim is a Black male. Overall, fewer than 2% of homicides by civilians are classified as justifiable, but in cases when a Black man was killed by a non-Hispanic white civilian over the last 3 decades, almost 17% were ruled justifiable. Examining data sets from the FBI, reporters found that police label killings of Black males by white people justifiable more than 8 times as often as others, and this racial disparity persists across cities, different ages, different weapons, and different relationships between killer and victim. In contrast, in cases where a Black civilian killed a white person, just 0.8% were ruled justifiable. This adorable boy was murdered by police because he had a toy. A grand jury declined to
talk about it. Talk about it.
Those cases.
Talk about
it. Especially Tamir Rice. God, that's BMU, as you know, that's right up here in my area, Northeast Ohio.
Yep.
Tragic. Those have nothing to do with this case in fucking Texas. This has nothing to do with that. Y'all keep trying to try to make it like similar and connect, but this was a dumbass 17-year-old who let his ego take control of his emotions. And on top of that, guys, he stabbed somebody in the chest.
Let me ask you, what could Austin have did to make himself to be alive right to this day?
You know what? He could have just not put his hands on him, right?
Or not even being in his face, or get proper authority.
But Jay Prince, I already made this comparison, and I've already said this analogy in the monologue. Jay Prince, guess what? You know what you just said? It doesn't matter. You can't control how somebody responds, right?
Yep.
So just like when I was a gunner in Iraq, if somebody threw a rock at me, Jay Prince, and I responded by shooting them, I would be sitting in jail because of a disproportional response. I would not be sitting in jail or prison if I threw a rock back at them. You see what I mean?
So you got to wait till they throw a bullet at you first.
Well, first and foremost, escalation, the rules of engagement and escalation of force says because we were on the convoy escalation, yeah, we have to wait until we're shot at. But I just mentioned a rock, Jay Prince. Jay Prince, I want you to stay with me here. We're not talking about waiting for a bullet. We're talking about somebody throwing a rock. And I decide to respond a rock, just a normal, you grabbed it, a rock.
That
And
can
I
really
decide that could, but I'm in an armored fucking vehicle with a helmet, right? Standing up. Now that could really fuck somebody up. I agree. So my response, right, while I'm up in the turret, I could throw a rock back at him, right? That's not gonna make the news. Jay Prince, do you think it's gonna make the news if I took my M4 and shot him in response? You think that's gonna make the news? That I killed an unarmed civilian who threw a rock at me?
Man,
Yes.
y'all making these dumb
And I'm
comparisons.
going to sit in prison because of
I'm
a
not gonna wait till somebody
disproportional
throw a
response.
bullet at me or throw a
It's
knife at me first.
Yeah,
But
Tyrese.
again, it's not about, at that point, it's about the response. It's about the disproportional response. I think maybe I'm just going to have to bring it up because I think I'm not explaining it well. But go
I
ahead,
don't
BMU.
understand that we have to wait till somebody shoot a bullet at us or throw a knife at us for us to return back with one.
Well,
No.
that's what's crazy because
what it
Karmelo
sounds like.
Anthony literally, and I quote stated, do something and see what happens. So he was already provoking it as well.
Oh,
You
what?
see what I mean?
Oh
So
my
so that means every man that went to prison for hitting on a woman, 9 times out of 10, women provoke men. So every man should go
BMU.
home for hitting on a woman then, because 9 times out of 10, women be
Oh
like,
my God,
hit me.
you guys are really being
Then when a man go outside and
BMU.
shit, now he's in prison.
That's me giving you a warning.
BMU.
Don't touch me again.
Yeah, exactly. So BMU, yeah, you push me, and I go, bruh, or you ain't even put your hands on me yet. You just, we about to get into it. I'm like, bruh, do something, see what happens, and you shove me, and I shove you back. Other than the fight, what happens, BMU? What happens in the court of law?
I don't know what happens.
Yeah, nothing. Most likely nothing. Maybe community service for both of us. Now, BMU, same scenario, except you shove me, and then I stab you in the fucking chest.
You have a right
How
to
many
do
times you seen cops do that when they get pushed? They start shooting.
We're not talking about the cops right now. We are talking about
don't
two
talk about the
individuals.
cops, because you push a cop, they're gonna shoot your ass.
Yeah.
Right.
We need, again, guys, we gotta stay.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I'm just making a point. Yeah. Yeah, they don't play.
Right.
Contested cops, if you even swing at a cop, they're gonna shoot you, right? You okay with that? Or cops is the only ones get to have a right to take your life? Do you agree with cops?
JP, no, I am a hardcore fucking liberal on this panel. I don't like the cops. You see, but I have the fucking ability to separate and talk about the subject and the goddamn case and the case as it exists in this individual state. Okay? I'm talking about the case as it relates in Texas. God damn.
You being biracial, right?
I got another super chat.
Okay, I'm gonna read let me read the super chat. As a matter of fact, BMU, can you read it real quick?
Yeah, I got you, bro. I got you.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got we got two. You read this one already? No, you didn't. Trap Soul 999. Thank you, man, so much for contributing to the channel tonight. He said, I agree. You want to throw hands, throw down. Don't mean kill a brother. Black, white, yellow, don't matter. You can't fight non-lethal with death, unbiased. MMA fighters showing up with guns. These two crazy. Yeah, we crazy. Again, Trap Soul again. Thank you so much, man, for giving your opinion tonight.
Trap, bro, hell yeah.
Read 499 super chat. Thank you so much. Read the last chat. He said could just sucked it up, been a man and walked off. He's a child. He's not a man. That's simple. Swallow that entitled pride and move on. Here's more money. Laugh out loud. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. But yeah, man, I don't know. He's a kid. If you scared, you don't know what you do when you scared. You really don't know. Tyrese, you don't know. If you got in a situation, man, and you were scared, bro, you don't know what you would do, bro. People say what they know what they'll do. I don't know what I would do if I was in a situation where I didn't feel like I wasn't gonna make it home, or I feel threatened or whatever. You just never know how you're gonna feel in that moment, bro. You just don't.
Again, you don't know, but there's so many of us BMU who've been in that situation, and didn't stab somebody in the fucking chest.
Well, it goes back
Because
to
we didn't have a knife on her.
right. No, I'm just saying it goes back to
Dude.
even to the school shootings. Like these boys were dressed in black. They painted their nails black. They were gothic. Their parents knew that they were off the rails. They were locking themselves in their room. They were showing signs of depression, and they were going through what they was going through. And they said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not gonna be the only one stressed out. I'm finna go kill a whole bunch of kids at the school. You know what I'm saying?
And that's premeditated. Guys, let me read this so that we're all on the same page of disproportionate response, okay? A disproportionate response occurs when a reaction, retaliation, or policy is vastly out of balance with the triggering event in terms of size, intensity, or scope. The phenomenon spans several distinct contexts ranging from personal behavior to international law and public policy. In personal reaction, a disproportionate response often involves overreacting or exhibiting emotional dysregulation, where a minor trigger results in disproportionate anger, anxiety, or withdrawal. This is frequently driven by heightened stress, past trauma, or difficulty regulating emotions. And might I add, we already have Karmelo Anthony having a difficulty regulating emotions because, as JP incorrectly tried to point out, Karmelo Anthony was already suspended prior to bad behavior for bringing a knife to school. So when we're talking about pattern recognition or pattern and recognizing things like that.
Tyrus, let me ask you a question. How many kids do you know? I know a few because I coach a lot of these kids. But how many kids do you know when how it affects their mental health? Because in here, I think they said Florida is the state that really, really takes it bullying seriously. But I know a bunch of kids who get bullied and they get talked about, and they get talked about because they're poor or they may smell a little different than someone else. I remember a kid that I was coaching. They used to write at the school. He said this in tears. They used to put a mark on his shirt to see if he was wearing the same shirt over and over again. And when he came back to school the next day, because his mom couldn't afford clothes, they would laugh at him. You know what he told us after practice? He said, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to stab every one of them motherfuckers for playing with me. They got in his head. His mental health was failing him because every day he's a fat bastard. He stank. You ugly motherfucker. You this. Slapping him upside the head. All type of shit. He was about to rage out. And I told his mom, I said, hey, you need to take him out for a while and give him some therapy, because if you don't get him therapy, you're going to lose him. And kids are vicious. Kids are evil. And bullying is even the girl on that went Facebook Live and told her mom, I love you, but I'm tired of being bullied. And she hung herself. She tagged all the people that bullied her at school. She went live and hung herself in the park on Facebook Live.
Yeah, that was tragic, bro. That was a tragic one.
So you never know the mental state of a child. You don't know what, and I'm not taking up for Karmelo. It's sad that somebody lost their child. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we don't know why he even brought the knife to school. What if somebody was fucking with him?
Oh, okay, but first, you got suspended. So don't you think you probably shouldn't have it on you again?
But what if he's scared though?
You see, we're talking about situational awareness here, bro.
But what if he's scared?
And then on top of that, I just conceded a specific point that you guys might have forgotten already. He wasn't being bullied. He knew a couple of people in the tent. And again, guys, he didn't know Austin Metcalf. There was no bullying involved in this. So when you guys keep trying to claim he was being bullied, he wasn't.
I want to lighten this up.
He's not a trained security guard or staff to be up here telling another kid what to do. And to the point where you're going to act like you're a parent. You're going to act like you that. I think that Anthony Karmelo gave the recipe on how to check a bully.
He wasn't being bullied. So the rest, that's a recipe to go to prison for a long time, sure. Not a recipe for checking a bully, though.
He gonna eventually be home while Austin's still gonna be eating grass and flies gonna be eating him up. Keep your fucking hands to yourself, and you don't got no right to tell nobody what to do. Yeah, Karmelo Anthony might have to do them these years, but he gonna be home living a good life. He gonna probably live a good life in prison till he come home. While Austin is gonna be dead. He ain't coming back. He ain't no more future for him. That bully is dead. He already put his hands on his daddy, so you know he got a bully streak. While they trying to angel and try to make this boy seem perfect. No, he was a punk that got Karmelo Anthony got the best of him. I'm happy that this shit happened.
Damn. I ain't gonna say all that.
Jay Prince, like, come on, dog. Really? I know damn well you're not happy it happened, dog. I know damn well you're not happy it happened. Like, you gotta stop that shit, bro.
On my dead mother's grave, on my kids. My kids right there. I'm glad that it happened. Because since we've been on this video, it's always the other way around. It's always the other way around. Yes, you damn right. I'm fucking happy. I'm more happier about this than I was getting married.
Bro, that's fucking pathetic. Like, straight up, man to man, that's fucking pathetic, bro. Like, first and foremost, you shouldn't be happy. You shouldn't be happy that again, these kids their lives are ruined. You get what I mean? Like, first and foremost, like,
our lives been ruined.
BMU, you typically hear me that I typically like to blame the parents, or like be like, yo, the parents got to do what the parents ain't do shit in this situation, BMU.
Right.
Like, this is one of them scenarios where you're just like, yo, what the fuck?
Our lives been ruined. Don't blame me. Blame the white system.
Jay Prince, you are out of fucking line. First and foremost, you should not be happy that a teenager took another teenager's life. You should not be happy that a teenager lost his life. You keep on lying, saying that he was bullying. He's not. You lied saying that the victim was the one who got suspended. He was not. And now you got the nerve and then on top of that, to double down on your bigotry, you got the nerve to say that that's more happy than your wife, dog. That's full of shit, and that's really some scumbag behavior.
And I'm going to say this too, though. I think that we talk about the situation. I think that we all should be listening and paying attention to things that surrounds the case, right? So let's look at the Metcalf boys. Let's take it off of the two. Let's look at the households these people were born in. Let's look at the Metcalf boys. So their daddy is Alan Metcalf, right? Alan Metcalf and I'm looking at it here on ChatGPT. They said he said Alan Metcalf, the father.
I'm coming back on my phone, y'all. I got it.
Austin Metcalf was convicted of multiple counts of sexual assault and indecency against his stepdaughter. His wife, Lydia Metcalf, who was also charged and convicted as a party to the crimes of failing to stop the abuse. The daddy was a fucking pedo. So my thing is, you growing up in the house with this bully that was whooping your mama ass, playing with your little sister's ass. You don't think that pours over into these boys? I don't think the character of these boys, that you become what you are around. And I'm not blaming the children. I'm blaming the parents, how the parents can pour negativity and evil into their children. I can't see being in a house with an abusive man like that. I can't see them saying to Karmelo, hey, could you please leave the tent? I can't see that. I can see, hey man, get your motherfucking ass up out of our tent before we beat your ass.
Yeah, they're a bunch of athletes. Of course, that's how they speaking to each other, right? That's how you speak to your rivals. Ain't nobody being nice about that shit. That doesn't mean anything about getting stabbed, though. That has nothing to do with getting stabbed. Like, guys, we have to be able to show some sort of emotional regulation. We have to be able to, even when that shit is like, when you're knee deep in it, you have got to have the ability to pull yourself back. Like, there is no justification for why it escalated to somebody being stabbed, bro. That's insane. What's up?
No. I'm looking at the the New York Knicks game. And just to
who's
let
winning?
you know for just a minute, the Knicks were down by 40.
What?
The Knicks were down by 40 in the third quarter. The score is 106 to 105 right now in the fourth quarter with 5 seconds left. The Knicks are down by 1 point. Bro, if the Knicks win this game, bro, it'll be the biggest comeback you've ever seen in NBA history, bro. That's crazy. Crazy. I said, man, San Antonio about to win this fucking game, bro. They're not. If they lose tonight, they're done. If they lose tonight, they're done. But I see people in the chat, man. The mixed chat, man. Everybody's saying, keep your hands to yourself. People going to riot and steal and shit. But you know what? There were no riots. There was nothing after the verdict came through. There was nothing. There was nobody out burning down stores or doing no shit like that. You got to know where you're at. You're in Frisco, Texas. Frisco, Texas is probably 80%. Frisco, Texas is probably 80% white. There's barely any information, man. What's going on, my boy?
Information, man. What's good, man?
What's going on? I wanted to join the discussion. I'm doing fine. Thank you, gentlemen.
I'd love to hear what you have to say, bro.
Oh,
yeah,
first and
Frisco,
foremost,
Texas.
information, man. Hold on,
Yes, sir.
information,
Yes,
man.
sir.
How was your week?
Week's been good so far, man. Feeling good. Can't complain. Thank you for asking that question.
Yeah. And BMU, how was your week?
Man, it was
Gotta
good,
do
man.
the
I appreciate it.
All right. Information, man. What you got for us, bro?
Yeah, the numbers, it's 45% white, 33% Asian. I think 10% somewhere in there, black folks. We have to remember that Karmelo Anthony's family originally moved to this community because they thought that the schools were better, there would be a better life. And it turned out another way for this young man. This is my situation. This is how I look at it. I felt that he should have gotten the manslaughter charge. I didn't expect him not to get charged because I just think the way everything was going on down there, particularly, and I've said this before on other channels, I think his defense team didn't do him any favors. They only called about 6 witnesses from what I understand, and the prosecution called about 21 witnesses, and out of those 6 for the defense, they had at least 3 of them that recanted their statements that were fumbling, and the defense even put a young man on the stand that they didn't even prep, talk to, or anything. And come to find out, as you already probably know, the prosecution may have had a relationship with his father, may have known the family, because they said right in the court transcripts that he said, hey, I talked to your father by text the other night. So I think the defense team really dropped the ball in this young man at least getting manslaughter. That's how I see it. And another thing that bothers me about this is that when we talk about this issue, we have to remember we talk about this issue as if Karmelo Anthony is an adult. These are still, we're dealing with juveniles who have brains that are not fully developed. And I think that gets lost in this discussion because when it comes to black children, we tend to take black kids and make them grown adults. Society looks at them as grown men. That's how they project. So I think we have to keep that in mind, that we don't know what was going through the young man's mind because the defense team may have dropped the ball again. A lot of the legal experts have said that they dropped the ball by not putting him on the stand so that people can hear from his mouth what was going on. Now, some say that would have been a mistake, right? Because maybe he would have gotten nervous and said some things that would have not been in his favor. But what they failed to do is they failed to make Karmelo Anthony human. They didn't humanize him. His mother, which is really his stepmother, she spoke out and cried, but everybody expects a mother to cry and say, my baby is good. They didn't get other character witnesses. They didn't talk. This is a kid that had a 4-point or 3-point GPA. He was playing football, ran track. Where were the coaches to come out and speak about his character? Where were the uncles? Remember the white dude that was on TikTok who claimed that he had a relationship with the father because they worked at a dealership? And he said that Karmelo Anthony wanted to go to NASA and be an engineer. Where was he at to be a spokesperson? So they didn't humanize Karmelo Anthony for the juror to make the proper decision to give him a manslaughter charge if to make him innocent. Now, technically, I wasn't expecting that to happen because we got a majority of white males on the jury. Yeah, they said there was some Asians. and what have you. But he didn't have any, nobody was black on the jury. And whether y'all like what I say or not, under these Donald Trump times, these white men are feeling very emboldened. And there wasn't no way they were going to give a young black youngster any benefit of the doubt. And I think that's why they went with the higher charge of 35 years, because of the fact that it was a horrific act of stabbing. But then this is the thing that bothers me. Why didn't the defense team show more of the video? Because there were video, or at least it was put out there, that he may have been not only ganged up on by the two twins, Austin and his brother, but there might have been others involved and sort of making threats or making him feel uncomfortable. Something made him feel uncomfortable. And then remember, this comes from the court records. I'm quoting from the court records. People kept going with the narrative that he threw the knife down and he ran. He never ran. In the court records, he threw the knife in the bleachers. He walked over to the field. He ran into a coach from Heritage High.
Yeah, the coach
held him in the arms and said, "You know that you've changed your life, young man." He said Karmelo Anthony started crying and said, "But is he going to live?" So Karmelo Anthony, when people say, well, he was just a cold-blooded, in that moment, he felt something about what he did emotionally. And this is the problem. This is why the defense team failed to humanize this young man to that. And it turned out the way it turned out. If anything, I wish he would have got a lesser charge. Now he's going to spend a lot of time in prison for what he did. He's going to have a lot of time to think about it. They're going to appeal the case, but I really don't think they're going to win their appeal.
Well, they don't humanize us in no way.
Right. They don't humanize us. I get that.
If anything we do, we're going to get dehumanized already, because we already view less of human already.
Jay Prince, let him finish.
But the problem here, Jay Prince, this is the problem. I'm going to say it again. When you talk about Dominique Alexander and the lawyer that he had, that I guess they said has never lost a case yet, I heard that lawyer speak on a clip on X where he said that I don't want to be an aggressive lawyer. I don't want to go into a courtroom and be that junkyard dog. I just want to, be very pleasant and what have you, because the court may get turned off by that. But the problem is this: Karmelo Anthony needed a junkyard dog lawyer. I don't think he had the right lawyer. And I got to be honest, having Dominique Alexander, who has a really nasty past, I don't think that looked good for Optives during the time that they were developing, going towards a trial. Having that man around as their spokesperson, plus having a lawyers that I don't think did a good job, and maybe the family couldn't afford, with whatever donations they got, to get someone a little bit more, junkyard dog like
information, man. That's probably the thing. Like Howard, they don't know. This shit just hit them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they're not gonna know who am I really supposed to hire?
You're right about that, sir.
This is insane. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Information, man.
Do you think he probably won just off plea deals? Getting people to take pleas, because that man, he didn't address why did Anthony brought the knife. He didn't really challenge those defense teams, the so-called witnesses. Nothing. He was just letting a lot of stuff override, and he kept allowing them to. And then he didn't even didn't even know some of the witness. He didn't even speak to them.
Right. I had mentioned that. So it goes back to my main point. I think that again, not to belabor the issue, his counsel did not represent him properly. If we had had someone that was a little bit more experienced in these things than that lawyer, who would have been willing to say, we got to really vet these witnesses. We got to get more people to give more character breakdown of this young man. We need to make sure that the jury sees all video information, because what I heard, what they were saying is that they saw bits and pieces. So they really, check this out. It's just this simple. The prosecution used about a week and a half to push their case. The defense team only used a couple of days and only 6 witnesses versus 21. Now you tell me, you do the math. You tell me what's the chance he got with that.
And with that being said,
hold on, Jay Prince. God dang.
Oh, okay.
Information man. In your, I know we're kind of just spitballing now.
I know.
If you can put up some sort of mini template for parents in a shotgun situation like this to try to vet for some sort of attorney. Mm-hmm. Again, I know we're just spitballing now. What would you tell them? How would you tell them to formulate that template, if you will?
You need to find a lawyer. I would first tell them right now, America and the community sees your son as a monster. So we got to humanize, as I said before, we got to humanize your son. We've got to get as many character witnesses outside of just the family talking. We need to make people see him as a human. We need to get lawyers who have a track record of being able to shoot through these type of difficult cases. That lawyer that they had, I don't think
Just
he ever, even though he had a track record for winning, cases, I don't think he ever had a case like this. This required someone of a little bit more expertise, right? Like, for example, and I know I'm like, when you look at someone like a Johnny Cochran.
Yeah.
If he was to take hold of a case like this, we know we're going to get some spitfire from him. We know that he going to make sure that anybody he puts on that stand, they're credible. The basic things that they didn't do tells me, wow, didn't you learn that in law school, that you always vet your right? And then another thing that was going against him is that, remember, this was a very tight-knit community because there were kids that, well, I can only say this. There were rumors that there were kids on the stand, the witnesses for the prosecution, people who had changed their stories because people are concerned. When you're in a small community, you're concerned about how people look at you.
Perceptions, everything.
Yeah. So if they would have went against Austin and his family, they got to walk around in that community, and we don't know what's going to happen. Look, they're already talking smack to Karmelo Anthony's mother. She's getting all type of nasty venom coming in social media at her, and she ain't the one that committed the crime, but they're saying, hey, that's your son. You should have raised him better. It's difficult, man. Look.
It's difficult.
This is why we need fathers. This is why we need fathers. And see, I don't want to do a character assassination on his father, but this is why you need strong fathers preparing their sons for these type of scenarios. When you are a black man in this society, you must be prepared for any of these type of scenarios to happen. And like you said, I wish Karmelo Anthony could have just walked away and told somebody, and none of this happened. I wish he did not have a knife in his bag, but either here or there, he had a knife in his bag. He responded. No, he reacted instead of responding. He reacted out of emotions because from his standpoint point, he was under a threat by these big dudes. From that point of view, I can understand a young man having that kind of fear. Knives, he's looking at being in prison for the rest, almost a good portion of his life. And that's the sad part. I'm gonna rest there.
And that's what I said, information, man, before I appreciate the question. I know, again, speculation wild on it, but I really appreciate it. Before I get to this thing, it's got to be mentioned with the kid, like, again, just self-awareness thing and situational awareness. Mm-hmm. I know, I think his parents is got. Again, I'm not even to blame the parents because sometimes information, this 17-year-old kids do stupid shit, right, or make dumb decisions.
That's why I was reminding people that we're still dealing with, these are kids. These are not adult-minded brain development.
But also, information, man, in sports, we just gonna fight or brawl or push somebody back. Typically, you don't get stabbed.
Right. I've been in many fights playing basketball.
Let me ask you a question.
In the face, you get some knuckles, but I never said, hey, let me go stab somebody. Yeah. I mean, that's crazy.
Damien, shout out to you, bro. Thanks for the $10. I researched 10 different states for self-defense. He loses every time. Also, schools aren't going to have high-quality security cameras because of budgets. Anybody want to respond to that?
Interesting.
It is what it. Let me ask y'all a question.
Yes, sir.
Do you think how the trial went? Do you think if he'd paid hundreds of thousands like Young Thug, do you think that trial would have been that quick, that point blank? I'm talking about the lawyer didn't even really attack Austin's character at all. He didn't even do nothing. Like it was almost like he was doing a favor. Like he was just basically selling him out to the wolves. Maybe because he didn't spend much money.
Jay Prince, that's the information man's point. Is that's the sign of an incompetent lawyer.
Right. That's why I labeled one of my videos like that. And I think he lost. I thought he was going to be guilty because the lawyers were incompetent. Let me just tell you something, Jay Prince, and respectfully to you. You have to look at it like this. You're only as good as the counsel that you keep. The reason why they were able to make that call so soon, because out of the 6 witnesses that they had, 3 of them recanted their statements. One of them didn't even know. One of them they had to do a subpoena because the person didn't want to come to court and say shit. That looks really bad. Then when you have the prosecution talking to the defense witness and saying, "Hey, I know you. I know your father. We had a conversation." I think it crystallized in the minds of the juror very quickly that, hey, you know what? They're not meeting the burden of their case. And expert lawyers have said this. Whenever the jurors come back in a short time, it usually goes against the person that's on trial. When it's a longer, stretched out, where they have to really deliberate for a long time, it usually goes in the favor of the person that's on trial. Right. So the minute they said that the the defense lawyers ended their whole, they wrapped it up very soon. I was like, wait a minute. The prosecution took a week and a half. They only did a couple of days. And then when they said they're going to deliberate on Wednesday, or was it Tuesday? I was like, oh shit, he's cooked.
Right, because they didn't even take time to bring psychologists to prove intent, like where his mind was. To me, just a bystander, right? Just looking at the case, he's added a special event for him. This is one of his biggest days, his biggest moments. Yes, he didn't know Austin, so he wasn't intending on going to no school to start stuff. Let's say if he brought a knife. We bring stuff just to protect ourselves. You don't know how many fights he done got in, right? We know Austin is very violent. He broke his dad eating them backs. So you don't know what type of school, but at the same time, this is the biggest day of his life. His parents is there. He finna do something to make his parents and them happy. He's excited and stuff like that. Then boom, here come Austin now. He didn't know that he was gonna end up stabbing into somebody today. This stuff would just happen. So the intention, and I believe intent is this. If he really wanted to destroy that boy, he would have stabbed him more times than that.
Right. They tried to make that
quick
argument.
A quick reflex and drop the knife and crying and go running to. That's not intent saying that he tried to really delete him.
This is the problem, respectfully, Jay Prince. They put the defense team put one of their witnesses on the bench, which was a police officer or someone in law enforcement, and said, is it illegal to have a knife in the state of Texas of that size? He said no, but this was the caveat to it, though. Even though it was legal for him to have a knife that size, it was not legal or binding for him to have that knife on a school campus. That track that they were on was like a universal track for all their championships there, but it's still considered part of school property. So when that cop got up there for the defense team, just to show you how incompetent they were, that didn't do anything to move the wagon for the jury, because they still stood on the ground of the fact that he should not have brought a knife on the grounds. See, check this out. If he had let's just say he never had the knife. This is hypothetical. And this same thing happened. And let's say they got into a bare knuckles fight, boom, 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 boom. At least, okay, they would still be in trouble, but at least he wouldn't be going to prison for 35 years.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Nobody
He would have
know
bruises,
about
but he would
Frisco,
still be
Texas.
free.
Nobody would know about Frisco, Texas, all around the country.
Right, it would just be
Unless
another fight between two high school kids.
Well, Austin was a trained jujitsu. He could have really put him in a chokehold and deleted him.
But the defense team
he didn't get the chance
push that
to.
issue. I get what you're saying. Good point, brother. But the defense team, this is what I mean.
Yes.
They should have explored all those things. They should have said, hey, he's 130 pounds. Austin has a whatever belt in this. See, they didn't do any of that.
They didn't do none of that. And here's another thing they didn't do. Here's another thing they ain't do. In my ghetto, dropped 8th grade with a nigga magical math and decided to do. I Googled, is it common for people to bring knives and stuff at a track team? And they said yes. It's to cut the tape. It's to cut the strings and stuff. So it's common to bring the knife there. So only thing they had to do is establish. All they had to do is establish. Okay, what is the purpose of bringing a knife? Even if that wasn't his true intent. But they could have used legitimately that it's common for people to bring knives for track meets because they had to cut their shoestrings, they got to cut tape, they got purposes for this knife. This is not unheard of. This is on a regular basis. Bro, I'm not even an attorney, and I thought to decide to do that.
You need to be on that legal team because nothing came out in the court transcripts that they said any of those things that you just said, which goes again to my main points that I don't think he had the best legal counsel because they didn't. They think about it. They had a whole year to prepare for this case. You telling me that the defense team couldn't come up with no imagination? They couldn't come up and say, hey, let's talk about Austin's martial arts ability. Let's make Karmelo Anthony a human because everybody on social media is calling him a monster. They had more than enough time to come up with a plan, and they just acted like they just threw this shit together. Excuse my French.
He acted worse than a public defender.
Right. But then again, he does have a history of being a public defender. Did you know that, Jay Prince?
No, I didn't.
As much as we can say, and I agree that the council was trash, you also have to take into consideration that there's only so much the council could have done with the actual evidence provided. Because information, man, I know you wasn't on here earlier when Jay Prince already debunked his own claim because he couldn't read properly. Remember, it was Karmelo Anthony who was already previously suspended for having a knife. So you're already going to have a
did as well
pattern.
when you said that.
Yeah, with the tent.
You did as well when you stated that. Yeah, that he didn't know nobody up under that tent.
Yeah, I've said that multiple times already.
So we both made a mistake. We both made a mistake.
But see, this is the thing. Let me just say this. When they said that there was actually a friend that was under the tent with him, why didn't the defense team, if I am correct here, I'm prefacing what I'm saying, why didn't the defense team put his friend, someone that was there, that they claim was there, or they said was there, why wasn't he called as a witness to describe the behavior of his friend? Why? Another character witness for the young man. They didn't call the individual. They fumbled the case, Jay Prince. They fumbled it.
Yes, they did. And another thing that when they going around saying that Austin, Karmelo Anthony, they didn't know each other. Every sports team, they're going to study their opponent.
Yes.
The true or false. So if they're going to be
what they meant by know each other.
No, what I mean is
personal level, like they interacted with
I guarantee you, he would have found out that he knew jiu-jitsu. He would have found out what type of boy this is. If you study
then why didn't he? Then why didn't he?
How we know he didn't? How we know he did not? Just because it's not going to be legit. No, see, he didn't get the chance to speak. It seems like everybody was promising him something that couldn't deliver, right? And how we know they didn't
Guys,
have most of these people, most of these kids of today. Think about the truth. Most of these kids today communicate through Instagram, IG,
yeah, for sure.
face, a lot of this stuff, right? So you cannot
Yeah.
tell me that these people, Karmelo Anthony and Austin, did not, knowing that they finna go up against each other. You cannot tell me that they done had a conversation, probably a negative conversation, before they even made it to that track meet. They opposite teams, so you know they're gonna have each other
What's Jay
social
Prince,
media.
we can only go off of the reporting that we get access to. And unfortunately, one of the answers or responses to Information Man for the shitty council is the fact that, guess what? It's really hard to have character witnesses, Information Man, when none of your teammates are around you when you decide to go into the tent by yourself.
And that right there alone should have would have played in the favor of the defense attorney, because now he could prove that by him being because it's something like that was mentioned where they're gonna defend their team. So right there, he should have challenged their credibility of all of these people is the opposite team of him. Of course they're gonna defend themselves. Of course, and then one of their own players died in the process. Of course they're gonna be on the side of Austin. They're gonna make Austin look good. They're gonna say Austin didn't do what they was alleged, right? Of course. The defense team did not challenge the credibility of these kids. They didn't challenge the credibility of Austin. He allowed them people to victimize this boy, and everybody was sitting up there just focused on him being deceased.
Jay Prince, I need you to understand though something, and I've been trying to be nice to you guys in the chat. I know our special relationship, but y'all been disrespectful to my guests. Information Man specifically did not say Karmelo Anthony was innocent. He said he was shocked that he got the murder. He was thinking he would have got the manslaughter.
That's what I said.
That is him. That is literally him.
That's literally what I said when I first got on the platform.
Yes, Karmelo Anthony was going to be charged and probably convicted.
I already came to the conclusion that he would be convicted because I didn't like. I saw how. I even have a video on my channel about it. I said that the defense team was incompetent. I thought things were somewhat rigged up because I didn't like the makeup of the jury, but it doesn't change the fact that I still thought he would lose because of how bad his legal defense was. And on top of that, I felt maybe he'll get the lesser charge. I said that very clearly of manslaughter. And because he had bad legal counsel, I think that contribute to him getting the 35 years. Let's remember his mother also tried to do a plea to the jury, but at that point it was too late. The case was against him. And at that point, his own witnesses, they fumbled the ball, and therefore it made it easy, I think, for them to give him the 35. I would have liked him to have gotten the manslaughter because I don't think his intent, let's hear me out, everybody, in the chat room and those, I don't think that Karmelo Anthony woke up with the intent to say, I'm going to, even if he had that knife in his bag, because they've already said that a lot of kids in Texas have knives in their bag. He didn't
wake up wanting to kill somebody.
But I don't think he woke up like any of us and said, today, when I go to the track meet, I'm going to just do somebody in. I don't think he had intent. And I said it before. I think he got caught up in his emotions. I believe he does. I believe he did have some fear, because you just don't do something like that if you don't have some fear of something. Now, does it make it right that he took a life? No, I don't agree with life being taken away. I'm not going to condone that. But obviously something shook that kid up that made him feel that this is my only recourse. And it wasn't the best recourse that he could have engaged in. It wasn't the best thing to do at all, which is why he's setting up here in a situation with 35 years in prison potentially. And with his family that didn't see this coming, and let me just also make this clear. The reason why I make this point, we're not, because when this whole thing broke out, people automatically thought that Karmelo Anthony was a byproduct of a single mother, that he was a thug, that he was in trouble with the law. From what I understand, he wasn't in trouble with the law until this time. He had good grades in school. He was looking at scholarship potential. So we're not talking about a kid who had a track record of being a career criminal in the community, being a menace to Frisco, Texas. This really was an isolated situation in which he made a bad decision, bad choice that took someone's life, right? And even though we should have the right to stand our own ground, because Texas does have stand your own ground laws, I do believe he did have the right to defend himself. I would have liked it better if he had never used a knife. And like we said, back in the day when I was growing up, you usually fought with your knuckles. You might have gotten smacked around, but at least you were alive to see another day, and you wasn't looking at 35 years to life in prison. I rest my case there.
If you read the stand your ground law in Texas, it says that as long as you're not in a place that it was illegal for you to be there, that's one. It wasn't illegal for him to be in that tent. That's one. As long as you have not provoked the situation, as long as you're not committing a crime, he was not committing a crime. Right. As long as you were not provoking the situation, he was. As long as you weren't attacking, as long as you weren't the attacker in the situation, he was not. Austin was every bit of that, except the place where he's not supposed to be, right? So Austin was the one attacking. He was committing a crime. He was committing a battery and an assault. So this whole case went against the stand your ground law.
Jay Prince, respectfully, I've already pushed back on this way earlier in the show on you, and we're gonna do it again. Okay. The self-defense without a duty to retreat in Texas, provided you have a legal right to be there, are not the aggressor and are not engaged in criminal activity. You already debunked it yourself that he was the one suspended with the knife, so he shouldn't have had the knife on school grounds. Okay. Then on top of that, despite being told to leave the tent, he didn't want to leave. And again,
was he told by staff?
Jay Prince. The biggest thing, and I keep harping on this, disproportionate response. If he pushes back, if Karmelo pushes back, or even punches him in the face, this is a non-story nationally. But because he decided to stab somebody in the chest as a response to being shoved, this is why we're here.
I understand he got stabbed. To me, it's like whoop-de-doo. Black men on other cases. Here it is. We got a case of a boy running and gets shot in the back. So we hear these stories all the time. When it comes to black kids dying, they gonna always make an excuse on why they died. And had this would have been Karmelo Anthony dead and Austin alive, I guarantee you this won't be a big fight on try to prove Austin's guilt, right? Not in a million years. But since it was a black man got the best of the white boy, now this is not about what was right and what was woo out the bam. It was all about he took a white kid out in Frisco, Texas, where it's predominantly all white town, right? All white town, all white jury, all white prosecutor, all white defense players, all this other shit, all white. And he took a white boy out. They was gonna get that justice. You got to think out of 500 to 600 people that was for the jury, right? They pointed out 3 to 10 blacks. What about the other 490 blacks that applied?
That's on the defense. Okay, guess what? No one else is obligated to get him the best defense except him and his parents. That is the reality. Okay, so you can't be mad at somebody else for someone not doing their job properly. And then I have to now, God damn it, man. Remember the kid in Georgia that was just running through the neighborhood and got gunned down by them 2 white boys. They threw them asses in prison for murder. So yes, even with the white jury, when it's clear and cut, Sometimes, guys, we just got to accept it for what it is. Unfortunately, the biggest debate,
No.
Jay Prince, unfortunately, the only debate here, as far as the legal goes, is
You want us
whether
to
it was
concede
murder.
that the system
Jay
is fair.
Prince, it was no. I'm not conceding. I want you to.
If you know the
concede in
system
this,
is not
Jay
fair,
Prince,
so
I want you to concede in this specific case. The only thing that's really debatable is murder or manslaughter. That's the
or
only. It's not about
self-defense.
innocence. It wasn't
Or
self-defense.
self-defense.
It wasn't
Bro, if you've been
self-defense,
attacked,
Jay Prince.
well, if you've been attacked in any state, you
Jay
stand
Prince,
your ground law.
respectfully, we've been over this, and I've read the doctrine, Jay Prince. So what we're going to do,
So
respectfully,
what is a
respectfully, Jay
self-defense then? What is a self-defense in a state like Texas? If you in a state of any state that has a stand your ground law, I was always told that if you try to attack anybody, they got a gun in their hand, they got the right to shoot.
And see, this is the thing, JP. I don't just try to tell you. I'm literally just reading it for you, so you just don't take my word for it. All right? The stand, as a matter of fact, let me pull it up so that everybody knows exactly what I'm reading, and you can at least debate the facts. Okay?
Okay.
The stand your ground concept. No duty to retreat. If you are in a public or private location where you are lawfully present, you do not have to try to flee or escape a violent encounter before defending yourself. Proportionality. Oh my God, Jay Prince. Proportionality. The force used must be reasonable and proportionate to the threat. Deadly force is strictly justified only if you reasonably believe it is immediately necessary to prevent imminent death or serious bodily injury. Guys.
So how you know he didn't feel that way?
Because guess what? Again, the law at that point, when they take it together, they're going to determine whether or not he acted proportionally, and he didn't. This is
what I'm saying is
self-defense.
Now that's on his defense team because there's multiple kids there is threatening him. All this you got
That's my point.
And then these is trained UFC fighters, basically jiu-jitsu,
come
right?
on, dog. Come on, bro.
So how you gonna keep ignoring that?
Bro, because you keep bringing it up as if the first thing Austin Metcalf did to Anthony was a jiu-jitsu move. He literally shoved him like any other 17-year-old kid shoves another 17-year-old kid. He did not.
That was just the first move.
No, and Jay Prince, guess what? Carmelo Anthony had no knowledge of this dude being jiu-jitsu. So it's
you don't know that.
It's irrelevant, bro.
So here's the thing: when you getting shoved, you don't know what somebody's next move are. Right, you keep talking about meeting aggression with aggression.
Hey, Prince, how many times have you been shoved and stabbed somebody in the chest? Tell us right now. How many times have you done that?
Okay, I've been stabbed in my chest. I got a mark. I had a mark on my chest.
How many times?
Hold on. Just because you got the controls don't make you right. Teresa, just because you have the controls do not make you right.
Bro, I'm asking you a question, and I want you to answer directly. It's not about control.
So I've been stabbed. I've been slashed in my chest once. So here's the thing. It was times where I felt like the situation was way more. A lot of times I had a regular fight, but it was times where I had to pick up a bottle. I had to pick up something because how the way these people surrounded me, I'm finna get out of here. As far as like, I'm gonna make sure that they not finna just get me like that. So in a fight, you don't know how shit gonna end up, right? So these people, Karmelo Anthony by himself, in front of all of these teammates, they all agreed that they telling him to move around. So they wasn't saying it all nicely. That right there is intimidating. When all of these people is basically surrounding you, talking about get the fuck out of our motherfucker. Then you got people shoving on you, bro. I'm stabbing you. You got to think about the whole scenario. You keep thinking about, you keep going off what the people saying.
You're going to get they making themselves look good and sent to jail saying this horse.
No, what I'm saying is you making these people look.
What's going on?
You making these people look good.
Jay Prince. Unlike you, I am speaking directly about this case in this case only. You're the one
And you take
windmilling to
you take the
everything else,
witnesses'
bro.
statements as this is credible,
But
as if
because
they
that's
wasn't
what
part of threatening this boy.
because that's what we have to go off of, Jay Prince. I am not going to
Right,
just
but
make
there's
shit
a
up.
there's a
I'm
nuance
going to go off of what was stated. I'm not going to be you, Jay.
to Rush,
You
but
can do
you
what
got
you
common
want,
sense
Jay
though.
Prince. Yeah, okay. And guess what, Jay Prince?
You've been
Unfortunately,
in the
Carmelo
streets too.
Anthony did it. But Carmelo Anthony doesn't have common sense, Jay Prince.
No, what I'm saying is you've been in the streets too. So you know if the witnesses said they all was telling him to leave, you know for a fact they wasn't saying in Jesus' name. Right? So they was aggressive.
We've already went over
Austin
that.
was the
Yes.
one that got aggressive with it. He was just the first person, and we know these kids
First
today,
off,
they jumping.
Jay Prince, I already mentioned this like 5 times, and including the monologue. Austin Metcalf wasn't even the first student that approached Anthony and told him to leave. There were multiple students that told him to leave, and guess what? They didn't get stabbed.
Exactly. Why they didn't?
Scam Likey.
Why?
How you doing? First, Scam Likey.
Wait, hold on, Tarus. Why they didn't get stabbed?
Jay Prince, please.
That's the point. Why they didn't get stabbed? So Anthony wasn't so damn wanted to stab people. If Austin wasn't the first one, and hold on, hear what you saying. If Austin wasn't the first one that told him to leave, and they did not get stabbed, right? Anthony did not stab them other people, right? What made them different from Austin? What was Austin doing that made him feel that intimidated?
Okay. Let's see if you can follow the bouncing ball again. Multiple students were told, and again, I went over this earlier, so let's do this again, Jay Prince. Multiple students told him to leave.
Right.
He didn't.
Nobody got stabbed.
Nobody got stabbed. Austin Metcalf then stands up. No physical altercation yet. At that moment, because he's been like, yo, leave. Carmelo Anthony, and I quote,
"He gonna be the bad tough guy.
Do something, see what happens." Yeah. Metcalf shoves Carmelo Anthony.
No, he put his hands on him first.
She pushed him.
I'm saying before he pushed him. Right? No, I'm saying before.
Austin only put his hands.
No, it was two. It was 2 strikes.
No,
before the shove, he touched him. Before the shove, he touched his arm. And Karmelo Anthony said, "Now punch me and see what's gonna happen." And that's when Austin pushed him. So he kept trying to cross the man's boundary. He didn't stab nobody else.
Let me just say this. Let me just say this before I get ready to drop down. Just for the record, because when this whole thing broke out, people originally was saying that Carmelo Anthony had no business being there. Carmelo Anthony was there because he was on the track team. He was running as an alternate. That's why he was physically there in terms of being on the track field in general. Now, Austin did not run track. He played football. Was not a track runner. So technically, Austin was not there because he was competing. He wasn't on the track team whatsoever.
Right.
So that's another thing you have to keep in mind, that because people kept saying that Carmelo didn't belong there when he did as a athlete, although things went wrong. And here's a guy who plays on the football team who ain't even on the track team telling another track person, you need to move away from here, even though he had a friend, Carmelo Anthony had a friend who told him that he could sit there, right? This is the problem. This is why this hear me out, folks. For good or for bad, I still think it was bad that he stabbed him and he had a knife on his person. I'm just want to lay that out for the record. But from where I come from, this is why you keep your hands off of people, because you don't know, especially today, what the way these kids are today. Because these kids today, they don't believe in fighting with their knuckles no more. Okay? You don't know what people are capable of when you put your hands on them. So in some ways, this is a lesson that, one, you shouldn't put your hands on people because you don't know what they're capable of doing. In this case, Carmelo Anthony was capable of doing what? Stabbing. 2, Carmelo Anthony should have honestly use an alternative other than stabbing, meaning punch, run, whatever. Now, there were people that were saying in this court that Karmelo Anthony at one point in time was trying to get away from these guys, but they kept pursuing him. That also could play. See, and that's something that the defense team, which is why they are incompetent. That's something that they should have drove home a lot more, that, hey, Karmelo Anthony was trying to get away from these guys, and then they kept pushing him and kept going towards him, which caused him to have fear for his life and to pull out that knife. Even though I don't think pulling out a knife and stabbing someone is the best thing, the way to go. I don't think it's a good thing. Nobody should lose their life off over a damn track argument. But what we have to understand, guys, is that we're living in a different society today where most of these kids don't think about what they do. They just do it. So Karmelo Anthony is wrong for stabbing him. At the same time, Austin and any other kid like him should not put their hands, because technically, why? This is my argument. Austin could have easily went to a teacher, a coach on the field and say, hey, we're trying to get this guy out of here and he won't leave. Because once you put your hands on someone, now you're taking things into your hands and you're not even a damn adult. I'm not saying that to say that it was justified what he did to Austin. I'm simply saying that we're dealing with kids. Their minds are not developed. And so they're not going to think like us as adults and do the right thing and say, hey, let me go get some authority. They're going to go on their pure emotions and their pure adrenaline, their pure masculine energy that they have within their bodies. And that's what led to this unfortunate situation where now this young man is looking at 35 years. The Austin family, they don't have a son, not alive, not walking, not talking. The whole thing is tragic at the end of the day. Now,
information, man.
I just want to say this before I drop off, this last little point.
I want to ask you a question before you drop off.
We live in a world, and I don't care what anybody in the chat room or anybody thinks, because this is a damn fact. I'm 56 years old. I've been on this earth for a minute. I know this is a fact. Race always matters in America because America was built on race from the get-go.
Exactly.
There was no way that he was going to win under these circumstances with bad lawyers, when you're in Texas. If you know the history of Texas, Texas has a long history of racism. Okay. I don't care what anybody says. This is just facts. You're in the state of Texas. You're in a state that doesn't, that likes to convict people and give people high sentences in Texas. They do that quite a bit in Texas. Okay. You're looking at a young black male who took the life of a young white male, an all white male jury. Who the hell do you think they were going to decide on, Jay Prince, or anybody listening? Of course they were going to go with their own, because when have black boys and black men ever gotten the benefit of the doubt in this society? We have never. The only reason why anybody that pulls OJ out your ass, OJ is completely different, because OJ Simpson had money to pay for the best lawyers to get him out of his situation, because the legal system is about money. If you don't have the money to get the best lawyers, the best defense, because winning legal cases is about who makes the best compelling argument. Austin's lawyers, the state of Texas, or the state in Frisco, the state, they made the better compelling argument against Karmelo Anthony. So the odds, when I say it was rigged, the odds were always against him from that standpoint, on top of the fact that he did a horrific crime, a horrific murder against a white boy. So who are we kidding? He was never going to get out of this case scot-free, which is why I always felt, well, maybe they'll give him the lower charge, which is the manslaughter. But he wasn't going to get, Jay Prince, he was never going to walk out them damn doors free. We in America. What you think?
Here's the question I want to ask you before you go.
The blue, the red, and the white stripe.
Can I ask you a question before I forget it?
No, I want you to answer this question, or ask the question right now. I just wanted to clarify information, man. Unfortunately,
I'm wrong.
Unfortunately, just on the specific point, Austin Metcalf participated in the shot put, the discus, and the 100-meter dash. He was an active participant in track meet, so he was supposed to be there.
So he was
Go
supposed
ahead,
to be
Jay
there.
Prince.
I stand corrected.
So
I stand corrected.
No.
Information, man. I
Um,
got a question for you before you drop too.
hold on,
Oh, you know
Scam.
what? I think
So,
what it was is that he wasn't supposed to compete that day. I think that's what it
Okay.
was. Yeah, you're right. I stand corrected, everybody. I stand corrected.
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead,
so
Jay Prince.
if that's the case, and you said that, Karmelo Anthony was like the substitute, what was Karmelo Anthony's role for that day?
He was supposed to be. I think they were doing the relay or something, and he was going to be an
And
alternate
he was
for the
actually
relay
part
team.
of
I
it.
believe it was relay team.
So he was actually part of it.
But yeah, but the bottom line is Karmelo Anthony plays football and he played track. So technically he was supposed to be on that field. Now, whether he was supposed to go underneath the tent of another team and all of that. But then this is the thing. This is the thing. One of the defense witnesses.
Hold on, because I'm trying. No, hold on, I'm trying to ask you this question, information, man. So are you saying that he was supposed to be there that day?
What I'm saying to you, I'm gonna say it very plainly. He was supposed to be there at that stadium as an alternate for his school. Now, him going over to another tent, that's a whole different.
Okay, let's stop there because we're gonna lose it. We're gonna lose it.
Yeah,
not true.
This is what I do know. This is what I do know. Let me just
We
make
just
this point. One of the witnesses.
Hold on, information, man. I don't want us to lose it.
Hey, whoa.
I don't
Let
want
us
to
finish,
lose-
bro.
I'm gonna say this because I got to get off.
I was asking him the
Jay
question.
Prince, it'll work to your point. It'll work to your point, Jay Prince. Please let me say this. It'll work to your point. One of the witnesses for the defense team, a young man that was on the stand, said that because there was this whole narrative about how the different schools don't commingle with each other. That's a lie. One of the young men that was on the stand said that when you have the different schools under the tent, it's a very social atmosphere where people from different schools do mingle with each other a little bit and go to each other's tents because they know people from rival schools. So when you say, why did he go under another tent? One, we know it was raining, so he wanted to get from under the rain. Two, he had someone that he knew under that tent. And three, it's a social atmosphere.
Jay Prince had mentioned before.
But for whatever reason, they wanted him to leave.
Yeah,
and at that point, when they wanted him to leave, that's
Hold
where
on, Scam. This quick point.
Can I ask
Real quick. Come on, man. You gotta let me finish my point.
Talk.
Guys,
I'm gonna drop off.
Man,
I'm just gonna ask a simple fucking point.
But we need to let Scan lightly talk.
No, because what I'm saying is it contradicts you saying Karmelo Anthony was suspended. You said no. It contradicts that you said Karmelo Anthony was suspended.
If he was suspended, what was he there?
He wasn't supposed to be there. Then somebody rigged that shit up.
In the court
That's what I'm
transcript,
saying.
he was there as a alternate, so he was supposed to be there. But this is the thing, Jay.
So he was not suspended.
I'm not.
He wasn't suspended then.
I don't have
because if he was suspended, they would have kicked him off the grounds immediately.
Right. They could have. Yeah, you're right. They could have said.
So how we know? This is what I'm saying. They made that shit up.
That's a good point. I'm about to get off.
They made that shit up.
Here, I'll watch from afar.
Can I add this information, man?
You got about 268 people watching y'all in the vertical feed. Just so you know.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, thanks for joining us, information man.
No
really
problem.
appreciate it, bro.
Information, man. Can I ask you?
Yes,
All
sir.
right, information, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till what his question is.
So to Ruth, my point wasn't debunked.
Hey Prince, can I ask a question?
Jay Prince,
man?
hold on. Let's scam talk.
God.
Okay, my bad. Go ahead.
Information, man. I know you're Alpha, right?
Yeah, for over 37 years.
Okay. Isn't there an unknown rule? There's an Alpha section that this belongs to the Alphas. This belongs to the AKA.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, we do. We do. When we have
step my question, Jay
when we have step shows, we do have sections. But I'll be honest with you, Scan. We don't beat people up from other fraternities if they come into our section because a lot of people know each other from the different organizations.
And I'm not.
Why are you trying to prove the black boy to be wrong and shit? I hate
someone
niggas,
was a
I didn't even
was a
get
Q.
Hey, Prince,
and he's come over and he's dapped me up, right? Hey, what's up, man? What's up? Yeah, but we not fighting nobody.
No, I got you. All I'm saying is this.
We just dap each other up.
I'm saying there's been Alpha and Kappa fights, Sigma Q fights. These are black people fighting black people.
And I
If
don't
it was
agree
a
with
white
it.
fraternity and a black fraternity. If it was a parking space, hey man, you stole my parking space.
I
And
get where
one
you're
person
coming
was
from.
white and one was black. Does it mean it is racially motivated?
No, I
Now, the
think it
court,
means
I'm
that
just talking before. Now, the
people are
court, that's
fighting
all
over a
it is.
parking space that
Okay.
one person feel that they had entitlement to than the other.
Okay.
Now it gets racial if you start using racial words.
I agree.
That's how I look at it.
And if
But I'm gonna
there's
get ready to
history
go
prior-
and let y'all take do
Black
your
people
thing.
always
Do your
trying to
thing,
be
brothers.
fair
Thank
when
you
the
for
other
letting me
people
come
is
up.
trying to be.
Y'all take
Hey,
care.
thanks for
Black people
permission,
always
No
trying to
problem,
be
brother. Good
fair.
show tonight.
Okay,
Good show.
Thank you.
Tarus, let me ask you a question.
Black
Jay
people
Prince
always
is
trying to be
black.
fair when other people is not playing a fair
Yeah,
game.
Because Jay Prince
Like
just gonna
y'all
keep
so you so
interrupting. I
stupid.
ain't even asked my question or said aside, which I'm not on. I just
What's
got
up?
questions I'm trying to ask.
Scam, first and foremost, how was your week?
Oh, I'm good. I'm chilling. All is well.
Your week's good? Okay. What you got for us?
I only got a few points. I took the Texas concealed handgun license class. Also, I have one in Florida, and I would have one in Virginia if I could. It is very beneficial. It's not cool that this man got killed. It's not cool that this man got 35 years. I'm not with any of it. It's not cool. I'm not cool with the conflict starting and how it ended on any side. The system is not fair towards black. What we can do on the conflict resolution side is educate people on if you have a gun, if you have a knife, you have whatever, know what you're dealing with what you got, because it can go the other way. What they teach us in the CHL class, stand your ground. All this stuff is the law and it's legal. Yeah, you know, legal you can't depend on, but you still have to defend yourself in court, and it can be expensive, and you still can lose. Not saying it's right, not saying it's wrong. More on the wrong side. But if me and Tarus get into it and he pulls something, now we're dealing with deadly force. He pulls a bottle, a baseball bat, whatever, and I stab him, cut him, shoot him. I have to deal with what comes with that deadly force. It is better to avoid it at all costs. So when you say fear for your life or I took a life, you're better off it actually being you fearing for your life, and that was your only option. If you have an option to retreat.
He tried to walk away.
Hold on, Jay Prince.
He tried to walk away, but they kept following him.
Okay, force and force is different. Touch me and see what happens. That's not fear for my life. Now, I don't know what the law says because one thing is sizable advantage. 2, 3, 4 people surrounding you. Yeah, you might want to cut somebody. I don't know, and I'm coming from a position where I don't know all the details. The times I hear people talking about this, I don't even be listening because they make it something that it ain't. Man, the uncle had a dog that had 3 legs. They get all into reckless, stupid stuff from 40 years ago. Ain't got nothing to do with nothing. We do know is there was a conflict. They knew each other, and one person got cut. One person lost their life, and one person had to stand trial, and they lost. If you can avoid having to stand trial, if there is a way out, you might want to take that out because it's not worth it. And people should educate their teenagers, their kids. Conflict most of the time don't be worth it. Now, when it is worth it, ain't no way out. Yeah, you might want to cut somebody. I ain't gonna sit here and tell you not to. Shoot them in the teeth.
That was
Take them out.
That was his.
But was it
He tried to
avoidable?
walk away. According to information,
If
man, he
ran
tried to
track,
get
he
away.
might run a 4. If he ran track, I believe he could have got away. But I wasn't there. And I don't know the situation. I don't know if it's people squaring up around him. But when you take the election, you got to take what comes with it. It is unfortunate. In 35 years, no, that's not cool. I don't think he should have been found guilty and all. No. I'm more talking about somebody tomorrow getting into it with somebody in the parking lot. And they pull something, use something, and take that route. If you can avoid it, avoid it. For now, that's all I got. What y'all got?
Scam. I've been saying this for 2 hours and 30 minutes now.
Yeah, I just got
Why
here.
couldn't? Yeah, I know, but I'm just letting you know. I've been saying this for 2 hours and 30 minutes now. If the kid would have just reacted like a typical 17-year-old and shoved him back or punched him, get into a fucking brawl, nobody would know what the fuck a Frisco, Texas is. Okay.
Well,
Only way, I think the only way. What's up, Scam?
hey, let me say this. I'll share the mic. Hey, Tarus, we're talking about 15, 16, 17-year-olds. Are they really being educated by their parents or by whatever is out there? Are people really being influenced? And people say, these new kids out here. Whoa. No, 1993, 94 was way worse than what you got now. They were recklessly violent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the people who's raising the people now. But are we really teaching people how to resolve conflict?
Yes, conflict, and I mentioned that before. Scam likely already.
Are the adults,
we
the
have
40 and
more
50-year-olds,
They're
they
not.
want to fight and fly out over talking points that don't even make sense on YouTube. Am I wrong? That's all I got for now. Go ahead, Antoine.
What's going on?
Antoine, how was your week, bro?
Not bad. Taking it one day at a time and everything else. It's getting crazier because the Knicks came back and won.
Oh my God, I can't believe y'all came back from that game, bro.
That was crazy.
I can't believe y'all came back. I can't. Dog, y'all was down 40. Man, that's crazy, dog. There's no way y'all don't go to San Antonio and close and finish it out, bro.
For real, man. They pulled it off. And
That's
also the World Cup starts tomorrow, too. So
And all you can do talk about is sports.
say again.
Like
No.
all you could come up here and talk about is sports, bro. At this point, I would think that black people wouldn't not even participate in that shit no more.
What are you talking, Jay Prince? Anton and I be talking about everything from politics to space, AI. And he came.
I understand that, but I think this should trickle down. Black folks ought to be tired of going through this stuff. Now it's affecting our children. We got one black boy get shot in the back and the people get off. You got another black boy defending himself and go to get 35 years. This is always ongoing, but yet we still participate in making their entertainment when it comes to sports. We work in their fields, and we don't even get treated. We don't even get treated equality, right? Even in the court systems, everybody is totally against us. As black men, specifically, ain't no way in the world that we could be sitting up here smiling, talking about let's go play basketball the next day, or who winning in a basketball team where they just basically just took your black kids out of here. No matter if they shot them in the back or
Hey guys, hold on, guys. That's Jay Prince's answer to everything. Black men don't participate in the country society you live in. Anton, what do you got for us, bro?
No, I heard about this case and I was talking to my man on his show. Shout out to my boy Max V. We were talking about this case as well. I was on his panel talking about this. And I said this, I'm not surprised because the real messed up part about it is young black men and young black women don't get the benefit of that when it comes to self-preservation. Plain and simple. It's almost like we're supposed to be a victim in almost anything and everything. We're supposed to be a victim when we walk out our door. We're supposed to be a victim. We're supposed to allow ourselves to be a victim just because we're breathing. We're supposed to allow ourselves to be a victim because we walked out the door to go to school. We're supposed to allow ourselves to be a victim when we catch the bus. We're supposed to allow ourselves to be a victim when we go to work. What Karmelo Anthony did was he was protecting his well-being. And from what I've heard, Austin, what I've heard about this this other gentleman he was messing with, I think his name was Austin Murphy. From what I heard, him and his twin brother were basically bullies in the area, always starting nonsense with people, so on and so forth. But unfortunately, this is an example of the double standard. Plain and simple. So, Jay, if you think I'm not paying attention to what's going on, I am paying attention to what's going on.
Hey, Antoine, can I ask you a question?
What's up?
What would you advise your 16-year-old son to do? This happened already. Now it's tomorrow. What would you advise your 16, 18, 22, or even 12-year-old son to do in certain situations? I'll let you pick the situation, if you understand what I'm asking.
No, I know what you're asking. Walk away if you can, and if you can't walk away, defend yourself. Make sure you don't have anything that could be seen as a weapon. Anything that you think that you're trying to delete them.
One of the person is a trained fighter and you don't got no type of training at all, and you don't got no weapons, and you decide not to use no weapons or nothing. Your kids still will get destroyed, especially if it's multiple people.
Oh my God.
So what would you do in that situation?
Because Austin was a trained UFC fighter. He was a jiu-jitsu since he was a kid. Compared to your kid that don't got no training.
Was that true?
Yes.
So he was training Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
He was just well trained, and that's how they beat up their own father. The twins beat their father up because they were one. He had been in their life, so they both were trained jiu-jitsu fighters.
Is that true? I'm just asking. I don't know.
That's a fact.
Tarus, Antoine, is that true?
I'm
about
them taking Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but if they did, I wouldn't be surprised. And the real messed up part about it is you're not supposed to be using martial arts as a way to be an asshole to people and think you just bully them.
Hey, Jay Prince, honestly, if somebody's trained jiu-jitsu and they outweigh me by 100 pounds, two things. One, I'm going to try to avoid that fight.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't avoid it, he getting cut. I'm going to tell you straight up.
Exactly.
Everybody stop.
That's survival.
Everybody stop. Jay Prince, on this podcast, right? That I get to control, because I'm also streaming on my channel too. We don't do third time's the charm around here. We do three strikes, you're out. And so after this, if I gotta fact check your dumbass shit again, you're not coming up here. The 17-year-old kid, Austin Metcalf, was not a trained MMA fighter. The fighter you're talking about was the fighter from Manchester, Tennessee, who passed away in 2023 with the same fucking name.
No, bro. Okay, I'm coming back. I'm gonna bring my facts.
This is like when motherfuckers come up here talking about, hey, you know Michael Jordan owned fucking private prisons, right? And then you find out it's a white guy from Seattle that owned the private prisons with the same fucking name.
I'll be right back.
Hey, Prince, I swear to God.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get my facts.
Hey, Tarus, is he just throwing anything, or was that a legit?
No. I'm going to get my facts.
Or is he just throwing anything out? Is he just throwing anything out there? Because if it's the same name, it could have been a mistake. I just got here. I don't know what them other two. I don't know what he threw out here earlier.
Me neither. I just popped up here a few minutes ago as well.
Conflict, de-escalation.
De-escalation, yes. Resolution, as well as making the best choice available. And I'm not going to sit here and say I've always made the best choice.
No one ever had. No one's perfect. No one's 17 years old.
And I'm not going to sit here and act 16, 17-year-olds have law degrees and they know, well, to stand your ground in Tennessee, if he's within 7.8 meters, they don't know. And then stuff just happens. Let's be real. But yeah.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
You know what? I need everybody's final thoughts. I'm gonna take my fucking sleep meds and I'm going to bed.
I just got here. I'm innocent.
It ain't worth it being up all night like I'm running fucking convoy ops. Okay, no. Scam, what are your final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Is the system unfair towards African Americans, Hispanics, and others? Is it slighted? The answer is yes. I'm not going to deny that. Conflict resolution. How important is it? Life or death. Make the best decision possible. Sometimes all this ego and barking and whatever, not saying, and I'm not fully referring to this. I'm referring to tomorrow because somebody out here got a 16, 18-year-old. All that big talk, and all this doing stuff, there is a consequence that you may not want or you cannot afford. Where you can afford to go home and eat a sandwich and take that little L versus taking a big L. Other one was learn the laws, learn what you can carry, what you can't carry, and learn what you're using. I'll say this, I don't recommend knives because you have to get up close on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever, if you have a stun gun, throw it in the garbage. Get pepper spray where you can carry anywhere and it only counts as force. And it pretty much ends the fight. Plus, if it's 5 people around you, you can spray everybody and just get the hell up out of there. Mm-hmm. And spray yourself. When you buy it, spray it in the air and walk into it to know what it feels like. So in the case that you have to use it, and it's all about living to see another day. If you grab that pistol, go take the class, know what you're doing and know what you're dealing with. But distance matters, and anybody who's fought boxing, anything, distance matters, especially if you have girls. Don't have your 5'2" daughter thinking that she got something and she's going to use it when somebody's 6'2". That weapon's going to get took and she's going to get beat even worse. Or that little guy with a little reach. Know what you're doing out here. But your mouth, your attitude is more important than anything. Learn how to get out of stuff. Ain't nothing there for you, no way. Nobody get no street trophies and bonuses for getting into these stupid altercations. If it's not avoidable, do whatever you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean whatever you have to do to make it home. Yeah, I said it. Last point. I ain't gonna hold the mic. Every time someone's black and somebody is white and somebody's something, it's not racial, and throw the race from 476.8 years and everything race. If a white person steals your parking space, you're mad. If a black person steals, if it's about the parking space and 2 people don't like each other, it ain't always race. That's my point. That's all.
Hey, Scam, it's good seeing you, man. You've been incognito for a bit, bro.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, probably gonna go back and
that.
disappear again.
I feel it. Hey, man, but thank you for joining us, man. I really appreciate it, bro.
Shout out to Black Men Unfiltered and the people. I ain't see y'all in a minute. Information man, and yeah.
Hell yeah. Anton, what's your final thoughts, man?
My final thought about this is it's really messed up the fact what happened to Karmelo, but we already know why. This is, like Scam said, this system is slighted against anyone that is melanated. I'll borrow that term from a friend of mine. Yes, know the laws and everything else. Know how the laws work in your town or city, in your county, and in your state. Know what you can and cannot carry. Also, sometimes the best weapons to use are the most unconventional ones. Keys, a pen, a plastic fork. Learn how to walk away from a situation if you can. Understand the importance of situational awareness. Always keep your eyes open. Always be aware of your situation. Always pay attention to what's going on. And if you have to, if there's a way you can make that call from your phone and no one knows, do that as well. Plain and simple. We all got cell phones. We all got smartphones. Our spouse, our kids, our parents, whomever, if you're under 21, can track our movement. If you know you're in a situation, pretend you're about to look at your phone and you have that 911 phone, to have that 911 ready. That way, if something gets ugly, you press it. It's easy to be scared, and there's nothing wrong with being scared. But don't let them see you scared. Because to knuckleheads like Austin, to knuckleheads like him, You're a chum surrounded by sharks. And maybe you have to do what you have to do to survive. You do that. And if the authorities get involved, say nothing. Absolutely, positively nothing. If you got to sit, then you sit. But you say nothing. Don't make it easier for these colonizers, because that's their problem. They feel that they're supposed to have everything, and we're not but their scapegoats when they have their shortcomings. Don't give them a reason. Don't give them that satisfaction. Don't give them the one thing they refuse to give us, the benefit of the doubt. Because silence, you could do a whole lot by saying absolutely nothing. Because like they say, when they read you your rights, anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. So don't give them anything whatsoever. You do what you have to do. You defend yourself. And then after that, if the authorities involved, you say absolutely nothing. And for a lot of these colonizers, they need to start realizing enough is enough. We have every right to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. And if I want to take a page out of the book of my ancestors, if I want to send a message to a colonizer, I'll take you to the beach. And I ask you, you got two choices. Do you want to see the waves, or do you not want to see the waves? And I'm just going to leave it at that. And that's all I got to say. And those are words we're thinking about.
Thanks for coming up, man. I know it was short, but I know you was watching the game, getting all excited, man. But
I was doing some other stuff too.
Yeah. Heck yeah, man. I'll see you hopefully next week. All right.
All right, man.
All right, man. Guys, I'm going to be very, very clear here. This incident had absolutely nothing to do with race. You guys are really trying your hardest. I mean, for God's sakes, even the victim's dad, who lost his son, is trying to tell you guys, yo, don't make it about race. No, fuck that. We're going to make it about race. This incident had nothing to do with race, but unfortunately, my fellow Black people, do you guys not understand the trap you are readily walking yourself into? Because if this is about race, then the immediate question becomes, are Black males incapable of emotional regulation? Is respect of authority and standards, or lack thereof, is that inherent? That's the kind of Pandora's box you enable, or you potentially open when you do dumb shit like try to make it about race. These were two 17-year-old kids. One 17-year-old who dumbass brought a knife with him to a track meet. Right? I don't know what part of genetic code that's written in. I'm Black and Puerto Rican. I don't know of a genetic code that tells me I got to bring a knife every time I play football in high school. or baseball. I didn't have that genetic that strain activate when we got into a shoving match with the fucking opponent. But that's just me. You know what I mean? When somebody shoves me, my first instinct isn't to stab them in the fucking chest. I thought the first instinct when it came to athletes and athletics and being on the team was, yo, we gonna start a good old-fashioned fucking brawl. At least that's what I thought we did. That's what I thought men did. Karmelo Anthony has no one to blame but himself for why he's potentially looking at a full 35. Yes, we know he's probably not going to do the full 35, but guess what? The facts say as of now, he got sentenced to 35. And he has no one to blame for himself because, again, there's no system, no white man, no prejudice, no judge that told this dumbass 17-year-old to stab another 17-year-old just because he got shoved. No statue anywhere on the fucking planet exists for that to be a justification, which is why it's not a justification. He was found guilty. This has nothing to do with Trayvon Martin or Tamir Rice or any of these other cases. And it gets really tired of my fellow Black Americans trying to lump every single case with one another all over the country, despite the fact that we clearly have different laws in different states, or we should know that if we actually educated as fellow Americans. And yet somehow, some way, it's always was the same judge did it, the same cop did it, the same white person did it. No. Guess what? In this specific case, guess what, bro? Karmelo Anthony is the sole reason he's sitting in prison. There is nothing racist or anti-Black about that fact. There is nothing that makes you stand against code for stating a simple fact. And the fact of the matter is, every single one of y'all know goddamn well y'all first reaction was, why the hell is a 17-year-old bringing a fucking knife to a track meet? And it just goes downhill from there. So be mad at all the systems you want, all the systemics. Y'all know me, bro. I support the reparations. I support civil rights. I go hard in the paint than anybody, especially on this network. I'm the only liberal over here, or the only hardcore leftist. But I also seem to be the only one who could look at things from a case-by-case basis. Right? Again, y'all see why I had to cut the stream off early, because Jay Prince was about to have my blood pressure going through the roof. Because again, Austin Metcalf, he's lumping in the same crap. And then he's getting it wrong, talking about Austin Metcalf, the one who was suspended for the knife, when it was Karmelo Anthony. This needs to serve as a cautionary tale for the young boys out there, young men, and even some of y'all dudes my age still making dumbass decisions. Scan your environment. Look at your surroundings. For the love of God, stop trying to go into places you're not fucking wanted. And if you're going to find yourself in that situation, and if you're not going to adhere to that advice, then at least be prepared to throw hands And if, yeah, you're going to get a weapon, it's because you're doing a body shot or something. But disproportional response is everything. Whether you like it or not, my fellow men, disproportional response is a thing. Like I told y'all all throughout this stream, somebody can throw a rock at me when I was a gunner in Iraq. If I shot them in response, I'm going to prison and I deserve it. If I threw a rock back at them, who fucking cares? Your response has to be proportional to the act. And unfortunately, that never applied to Karmelo Anthony in any scenario. That is just a fact, and we need to accept that in this specific case. All right. So, as y'all know, I'm typically going to leave it here. I'm going to be talking about AI and all that other shit next week, and the fact that we're on what week are we on in this 3-week excursion, guys? Are we in week like 12 or 13 or something like that? They firing off missiles again around the United States. You know how that's going. But yeah, guys, look, man, just to think about what you're doing. All right, there's a lot to go on here, but what sucks is, guys, we got a 19-year-old in prison and another one that's dead. There is no good outcome regardless of the outcome. Y'all understand? This sucks. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. I'm Tyrus the Warlock. You guys all have a great night, and I'll see you next week. Peace.